Okay, right.
Very funky music.
It's very funky music at the moment, isn't it? It's kind of the pre-stream music. Everyone send out all of their pings saying, "Fucking come watch us."
Yep.
Good. Okay, right. I have a nice for any newbies and for your benefit as well, because we have now been doing this for about 6 months. Well, just over 5 months now, I think. No, just under 5 months. Sorry. We started this the latter half of January, I think. So we have been doing this for quite some time now, but little gaps in the middle here and there, with some of us being busy at weekends, etc., etc. But I thought I'd take the liberty of doing a nice big recap of everything, so we can all have a bit of a catch up and remember all of the various bits and pieces that have gone on throughout the stream. Or throughout the campaign. So let me do that very quickly. Let me change the music over to the recap music, which is a very epic song in the background.
I like epic songs.
It's good, isn't it? Right. Okay, so let's have a look. The Living Territories is a mysterious world torn apart by disastrous events and left in turmoil, with bizarre and powerful otherworldly creatures running rampant on the eastern peninsula of the continent. Having woken from death, spared by a mysterious deific creature who called himself only the Creator, and given the task of saving this world, our adventurers picked themselves up and headed to their destination of Ibra. Finding the town massacred and its keep infested with rats, which threatened to overwhelm them and reduce them to death once again in their injured state, they rescued a young girl before moving on to the next town. Upon arriving in the town of Riffigaber, they set about earning gold in order to buy passage in their quest to reach the capital. Clearing caves of goblins and exploring magical vaults, they were then joined by another companion in the form of a green-feathered Aarakocran druid who fell from the sky and assisted the party in rescuing the town once more from the influence of a sea hag, winning them favour with the town sergeant, who arranged for them to gain passage onwards to the mage town of Aniden, where they once again delved into the riches of the past. Exploring a long since destroyed necromancer's workshop, they faced challenges that none of them were entirely prepared to face, and which tested their normal beliefs and abilities. Eventually, after fighting off a flesh golem and protecting the vault, they bested these trials and looted the vault of its magical artifacts, which they were then able to trade for coin and further items at a store residing in an interesting tavern in the town. Or perhaps it wasn't quite. Our noble ranger received a letter from his father, warning him to be cautious and shed the name of his noble house as he travelled onwards. In subtlety, they travelled to the capital, where in this vast and industrial advanced city called Abame, he discovered the reason for the warning. His family accused of treason and betrayal, he was forced to stand idly by, overwhelmed by insurmountable odds, and watch as they were brutally executed in front of thousands. In a state of shock, they were contacted by a small resistance group in the city that was allied with his family, where he discovered that not all of his family was gone. Instead, he found new allies in the sewers of the city who were caring for his sister, this incredibly gifted, magical and technological genius. A letter from his father led them to a store of gemstones hidden away, which would assist them greatly in their future endeavours. Amidst discussions of purchasing an airship to carry them onwards in their journey to find allies in other lands, they returned to the hideout, where they regrouped, ready to plan a long and arduous uprising against a tyrant emperor. So, you wake up on a straw-stained mattress on the floor of the infirmary, with the noxious smells of the sewer around you, your mind still rattled and reeling from the events of the past few days. Daunted by the task ahead of you, you each look around to see your companions' faces, equally grave and worried, but ready to start a fresh day.
Good morning, everyone.
G'day!
Morning.
What would you guys like to do?
Oh, fuck this music. No! Immersion ruined! I'm sorry!
Is that better?
Much better, actually.
I actually have a map for you today.
Sorry, Owen, that was just way too classic.
I know it came up
YouTube
at random,
music.
that one. That was a little bit
It
too
was a
cheery
bit
music,
too
wasn't it?
Animal Crossing-y.
It was a
I felt
little
like
bit,
I'm watching a
wasn't
Minecraft Let's Play.
Yeah.
it? Right, I have a
monster
map
tutorial.
for you of the Resistance hideout, so let me bring you over to it. Oh, when Roll20 decides it wants to catch up.
Ooh, that water looks very nice to drink.
Okay, my
Don't
Roll20
you
is
dare
not
drink
showing
the
this at all.
water, Ragnar. It'll poison you more than the absinthe, surprisingly.
Our character is a bit low tech, like low poly.
Zoom in and out.
Yeah, zoom out and in, or in and out, or whatever.
Poor Vine's character
shit.
image is so tiny.
My Roll20
So you
has
need
had
to-
a bit of a glitch, so those of you watching the stream may have had a glimpse of things you shouldn't have had a glimpse to. Whoops.
Oh, thank God! I've actually just swapped over from your stream to my D&D Beyond tab. I was
Good
very
stuff,
lucky.
right, there we go. That's better.
Marie,
I'm just having a look around.
Now,
Just,
everything you can see through walls at the moment. That is how it's meant to be. You're meant to
Yeah,
be able to do
because
that at the moment because you've been
Just
to all of these
yeah.
places so far. There are
Like a
other
hub.
rooms, but they are empty, to your knowledge.
Oh, so they're probably just like storage rooms. Like,
Yeah, for the moment they seem to just be sort of like used for
Okay.
storage and or just empty rooms. That might change in the
Yeah.
future. You don't know. Whatever happens, really. You guys are down
Right.
here in the infirmary, down the bottom, with Blossom, who has let you use the beds in the infirmary for lack of like a barracks room or something like that.
I was about to ask why we're in the infirmary. I don't remember us. I don't remember dying.
No, there's like there's just no
Yeah.
like barrack room for everybody
Fair enough.
because there's not really enough of them, and most of them will have rooms above.
Is it also because you didn't find the time to make a barracks?
No, I could have made a barracks. I
Fair
made
enough.
this morning.
All right. Fair play, mate.
Doesn't take
In
long.
One day, fifth.
Yeah, it
fucking
doesn't
play,
take that
mate.
long.
Okay, so let's go over what I got from the lockbox.
Buddy, let's see.
Okay, so I did get a note from my father, but I did get something incredibly interesting. This pulling out of the little bag is a black sapphire.
Shiny.
These things.
They were there with
Can
you, by the
it-
way, when you found this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just to remind you.
So what do we spend them on?
You could potentially use them on an airship. Airships, and because if I remember correctly, there is an airship yard sort of outside. I think we should go and tell Fiona about this.
It might be a good idea. See if she's got any allies outside the of Inveria.
So I mean, this entire map is kind of placeholder at the moment. There's sort of like Blossom and stuff like that is. You can move yourselves around to where you're going just to keep track of where you are. That's about
I
it.
still have control. I still have control of Hick. Oh, I don't have.
You don't have
Dini.
control of Hikivim's token, but I shall give it to you now.
Okay.
Okay.
I think Hikivim wants to swim.
You can also, Ashley, you can have control of Malaya for the time being. Although I think Malaya will probably just stay in the infirmary for the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not the only people
yeah.
in the infirmary. I mean, that's the way it looks at the minute. You can. There are other people there being tended to by Blossom and Malaya, but there isn't. It doesn't really look like there is at the minute because I haven't got like tokens.
So
Just imagine
does
there's
this
people there.
organization have a name?
They haven't given you a name. They've just said that we are a resistance movement. It doesn't seem like that there's altogether much of an organisation in the first place, to be honest.
Just
It seems
resistance
like
to
it's...
the Empire.
Yeah, it just seems like that there's this small group of people at the moment just doing what they can.
Come and sit down on the chairs.
Right.
So you walk
Yeah.
into the room that you were in yesterday. It looks like it's kind of their sort of like planning room. The desk is sort of littered with maps and sort of like scrawled bits of paper. There's a bottle in the centre with a candle on top of it, various mugs and stuff like that. It seems like this is where Fiona meets people and sort of like makes plans to do certain things. So this is their sort of briefing room. You file in and you see this sort of like middle-aged. So she'd be a similar age to your father, Seldisa. So you sort of like middle-aged, 30s, 40s woman with this grizzled, scarred face with this sort of like 3 claw marks running down one side, her right-hand side of her face, and her damaged white eye. She would say to you, "Welcome back. I trust that you getting into the Moon District went all okay, and you managed to find the monetary the funds that your father left for you."
You won't believe just how much he left us. I sort of pull out the bag and sort of show off the black sapphires. I am very sure that this is probably a good part of the free fortune. I can only imagine when Declan just finds out about how much money has disappeared from the family coffers.
Shit, yes, that is a substantial amount. Yes. Wow. Yes. I mean, what do you plan to do with it? I mean, it's yours now. Your father's left it in your care, so it entirely depends on what you think is best, really. Wow. That's a substantial amount. You would have to... sorry?
Go on.
Well, I was going to say you'd have to sort out getting this traded. I'm not sure that many places would just take the gemstones themselves. I know some places probably would, but you might well have to get this converted. I mean, you'd have to wait for what's his name, Zendris, to get back. He's due back in about a week. Zendris would be the best person to effectively convert this and fence this for you.
Yeah.
I mean,
there
probably.
could be some.
Sorry, yeah, you go on, Ryan.
There could be some jewelers in the Moon District who could give us a portion.
Portion? Not the
I
portion.
think you might draw a little bit too much attention to yourself by. That's about, from what I can see, about nearly 100,000 gold. There's about 1,000 platinums worth there. I think you might draw quite a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
So, sorry, 10,000 platinum?
Yeah.
No, the
10,000 platinum.
The IRS hunting our ass.
What's this? What? IRS?
You know, the government's taxation people.
You mean the Emperor's tax collectors?
Yeah, the IRS. I don't know why I said that. I don't even know what IRS stands for.
Nor me, Master Dwarf. Nor me.
Don't damn it.
I think Ragnar might have had a Ragnar we drinking last night.
Nay! You said I couldn't! You said I can't!
I said you couldn't drink. Considering what you were rambling on about, I thought you could have potentially been under something.
I'm always under something.
This is basically me punishing Squishy when he breaks the fourth wall.
you say punishment. I say it's good. I like.
Oh dear. Right. So, I mean, what's your plans? I mean, you're welcome to stay here for as long as possible. Like I say, Zendris will, our black market contact will likely be back in about a week or so. I'd suggest maybe not going out into the city too much if you can avoid it. You're welcome. I'm sure Blossom won't mind you staying in the infirmary, or we can clear out one of the other rooms and you can put bedrolls in there for the time being. We haven't got that much space at the moment. We've got this small section of the sewers we've managed to keep fairly hidden.
When you say clear out, do you mean like kill whoever's in there?
Well, I mean, we had to get rid of a few rat infestations. Yeah, but we never had any like people here.
No. Not rats. Not again.
Not rats. No, no.
Oh, demons. So this know what I mean.
We have had some run-ins with rats previously. Great swarms of them. Oh yeah, so they can be very dangerous in swarms. Yeah.
Took you guys down like nothing.
No,
Yes.
This was when we were badly hurt in Ibra.
I believe they
You
did
mean when we
take you
died?
down as well, even after we'd healed ourselves, Teldisa. I'd like to point
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So
That's
what-
alright. Uncle Ragnar saved the day.
The question is, what would you like to do? I mean, so far the information that Fiona's given you is that this mysterious person called Zendris will be here in about 7 days, so about a week. So there's a lot of things that you can do. We can kind of like pass that time by you just doing downtime activities.
Is there anything I can learn in a week?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can do research. You can't. I mean, I presume you're thinking about learning a new skill and stuff like that. That's what you're talking about.
No. I don't know. I mean, I know I can't learn a feat because it takes like a year or something like that, roughly.
Yeah, and that's the same
Well,
with proficiencies and stuff like that. It takes 265 days and as much
Right.
coin, and you need somebody to teach you.
What can I learn, or what can I benefit from spending a week of downtime?
So, I mean, a week of downtime, you can go out and you can maybe earn a little bit of money. Let me hang on. Let me get the downtime page up. You can do some research. So if there's a specific sort of topic you want to look into, I think it's in the player's handbook as opposed to the Dungeon Master's Guide, actually.
I don't suppose there's any way to learn and gain myself up to level 4 in that time.
I mean, technically speaking, yes, there is, but no.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
I have a question. So, like, we're in the sewers, right?
Yes.
So, presumably, we've seen a sort of like rat or two sort of like scurrying across.
Yeah, probably.
Does that mean I could use wild chip to turn into a rat now?
Yeah, if you wanted. Oh, well, I mean, I
didn't-
presume
I
you
know.
could probably do it anyway.
Yeah, because
You've probably seen
presumably-
rats
yeah.
before. I know
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm just going to
Uncommon.
write. Wait, I need to.
I've heard that some people in sort of the middle class have been, and some in the lower class have in fact been using dogs to sort of chase after rats.
I mean, we've certainly had cats before in the places that I've lived previously. But yeah, I remember living in a barn once. We had a cat. That's
I can
Fiona.
turn into a cat if that's any constellation.
Okay, so
I'd like to learn about spells. Actually, I just realized. I technically can cast spells.
yeah, you can technically cast spells. Technically, so can Seldisa, who's completely forgotten about it by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Well, I still have my magic, but it was kind of useless during that magic flux zone.
Although
well,
admittedly,
yeah.
you didn't have any spell casting or magic spells to manage.
Yeah, you don't have anything just yet, Ragnar.
Yeah.
Ragnar.
I just have speak with animals and beast sense.
Yeah, and you have to do those as rituals, which takes you 10 minutes longer than their normal casting time.
Yes, they are. Oh, 10 minutes and an hour.
Yeah, you can't cast spells technically. You can just like perform small rituals. So downtime activities. There's a few bits and pieces that you can get. So you can start crafting items if you want to.
Sort of items.
Well, various different things. You can craft like a sword, suit of armor, etc., etc., etc. You can just effectively do nothing and just recuperate for 7 days. You can practice a profession.
What does practicing a profession do for you?
So you can work between adventures, allowing you to maintain a modest lifestyle without having to pay the 1 gold per day. This benefits for as long as you continue to practice the profession. If you're a member of an organisation that can provide gainful employment, such as a temple or a thieves guild, you earn enough to support a comfortable lifestyle instead. If you have proficiency in performance skill, you can use your downtime. You earn enough to support a wealthy lifestyle instead.
Okay. What else can you do in downtime?
So you can recuperate, which is basically you spend a few days making DC 15, blah 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 blah. It's basically if you've got like a disease or something like that.
Yeah.
You can train. So you can train in between adventures, learning new language or training with a set of tools. DM might allow you additional training options. First, you must find an instructor willing to teach you. The DM determines how long it takes, whether 1 or more ability checks are required. So you could learn something small like a set of tools or a language or something like that. Potentially. Training lasts for 250 days and costs 1 gold per day. Yeah, that's the training one. Research, however, research is a week's worth of in-game time. And actually, I need the other rules for research.
Oh, and I've got a question. I just realised I've got tool proficiency in brewer's supplies.
Yes.
Is that potion brewing or like?
No, that's brewing as in beer.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I imagine if it was for potions, it would probably be alchemists.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, there's like alchemy kit and
that's good.
kit and stuff like that.
That sounds like Ragnar, to be fair. I guess I could just
that's what I want.
brew rag beer for a week or something.
Well, it's kind of that, and it's also you get sort of like some ability in cooking and stuff like that. You can also go carousing, which you've done already.
What's that?
Where you go drinking.
I'll go drinking. Sounds good! A 7-day bender!
You can go gambling. You can just relax. Which allows you to recover from bits and pieces. Yeah. Research, there we go, that's what I want. So research requires 1 work week of work and at least 100 gold, which is spent on materials, bribes, gifts and other expenses. You typically need access to a library or a sage to do that research. After that work week of research, you make an intelligence check with a +1 bonus per 100 gold spent above the initial 100 to a maximum of +6. Depending on how well you roll, you learn certain bits of information.
I don't suppose in that week's time there's like a bandit camp or something we can go raid or whatever.
Not really. I mean, there probably would be, but at the moment you're trying to keep up a little bit of a low profile.
True. Fair enough.
So the question is, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to just basically skip forward in time, or do you want to spend time researching? Do you want to just do nothing?
I think there's nothing really particularly exciting.
Yeah.
I do remember that Vine had a couple of bits and pieces that he wanted to investigate. He asked a few questions here and there.
Mm.
Oh, also, forgot about this completely. You asked, Squish, previously to
Yes.
see what the Emperor symbol looked like.
Oh, thank you.
So that is the symbol that appears on the armor of the Emperor's guards.
I must admit, I wasn't quite expecting something like that. But it's still cool. But I think I'm too used to Skyrim, so I was expecting almost like a dragon or something like that.
Yes.
Fair
Well,
enough.
that's what it looks like, and that's the one that Vine identified was ancient symbol with potential religious connotations, but you weren't quite sure. You also sort of realised that the Emperor's age shouldn't be quite as he should look older than he is. As well, Vine. So you had a few things that you wanted answered, so you could potentially do that research if you wanted to. Otherwise, like I say, you can maybe look at crafting a few bits and pieces. You could help out around the hideout and stuff like that, and that might give the resistance a little bit of a benefit, a bonus potentially.
I'm going to help out in the infirmary because
You can help out in the infirmary?
I have obviously cure wounds and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and also, I could help in that way.
Okay.
Admittedly, probably just get drunk most of the time,
Okay.
or like work in, or even work in and around a tavern where I can drink. But maybe he doesn't get paid, but he'll happily just be paid and drink.
So you're going to go and find a tavern to
Brew
effectively-
and be paid. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, okay, you can do that. I mean, there are a couple of taverns here and there that are looking for an extra pair of hands, so yeah, you could probably find one that does that, yeah.
Yeah. I don't really care much for wealth as such, really.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Sort of using sort of the Ring of Old Self, sort of changing the colours, and then sort of like I'm very sure there's got to be sort of some libraries and sort of in the sort of capital, and sort of I want to use those libraries to try and learn about sort of the other kingdoms.
Oh god,
the
yeah,
world.
yeah. There's temples to Ogma, definitely, all over the place. So you want to do some research into the other kingdoms, yeah?
Yes.
So in that case then, what I need you to do is you need to spend 100 gold. That's just a base level 100 gold.
Okay. Is it okay if I draw from the joint pot?
How much is in the pot? Just wondering.
Just check my journal.
I mean, I'm happy to chuck in 20 gold to go towards your research if you like.
I mean, my
I've
character is 2 silver and 14 copper, so I could help.
I've only got 18 gold on me.
In that case, yeah, feel free from the
Yeah,
pot.
take from the pot. Can't think of anything we could buy at the moment, which is very expensive.
Okay.
And we don't have much of a pot anyways.
The rest of you, in that case then, the other two, depending on what sort of lifestyle you want to live, I would say you probably both live poor lifestyles, as well as you, Seldisa, actually. So that'll cost you 14 silver for this week.
What, me too?
Yeah, you too, because you still have to eat.
True.
Okay, 14 sil.
They're plying you
I
with
think-
drink.
No. Oh wait, do you
True.
say 14 copper or 14 silver?
14 silver. So 14 silver for the week. So you spend that. That's just to cover sort of like food, drink, etc., for
Can
7
I take
days.
14 silver from the pot? Because I currently only have 2.
That's the same for you, Seldisa. This is on top of the 100 gold.
Okay,
I
yeah.
feel like we should maybe give Vine some gold. Like, I felt like we should probably transfer the rest, at least
Okay.
a portion of that gold.
Take off the gold I need to research. We have 314. So take away another.
Should we take 14 just to gain even 300?
Wait, hang on, Ashley, how are you calculating this? You seem to be doing the minuses the wrong way.
I did it backwards. Like sort of instead of sort of 100 minus 18, I did 18 minus 100, which landed me with the negative numbers. So we got
Yeah.
So we have 314 gold coins left. So take away.
Just
Should we give Vine 50 gold of that? Because I feel like he seems to be hurting for cash a little bit. Would you like 50 gold, Vine?
yeah, 50 gold would be good.
Especially since me and Saldissa, I think we bought the we bought our magical weapons and shit.
I think 50 gold.
Okay, there is now 264 gold left.
And I'll remove 14 silver from my thing because I need to.
Yeah, so remove 14 silver off of that. So you should have removed 14 silver off of yours, Seldisa. Same for you, Ragnar, and Vine's doing it now. So you've paid 100 gold already. Seldisa?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You also, if you want to get any bonuses to this, you can spend an extra 100 gold per +1 bonus.
I'm just going to go with the standard 4.
Just the base one? Okay, yeah. So a week passes. Seldisa has been going in and out of these libraries to move around, doing his research on the other two sort of realms in the living territories. What I need you to do here now, Seldisa, is to roll me an intelligence check. Just a straight intelligence check.
I fell out. Okay, so 15 plus intelligence 18.
18? Oh, blimey, nice. Okay. Is there any particular realm that you want to focus on?
I'm just sort. Let me just have a look at the sort of world map.
Let me pop it up for you.
Oh, I just completely forgot. In my journal, I was talking about this spectral highwayman in Oral's Hold. I don't suppose that's going to be useful at all, Aaron. Or is that long and gone?
Don't know. Maybe. Maybe it's something that I've been tracking in the background because you completely forgot about it.
It's possible.
I think I'll focus my research on Yan Guo.
Yan Guo?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yangguo is where you were heading to anyway, really, because Fiona said that she had contacts in Ashan that potentially might be able to lend some aid. So yeah, so Yangguo. So let me have a look. You find 2 bits of information in your week's worth of researching. So 2 bits of specific information for you. The first, Ashan is a city. You know this already. It's the capital city of the Ganassi. So the Ganassi live here primarily. The city itself is built on the coast. It's built in a huge cave. And this inside this cave and on top of it as well, and it's split into 4 districts. Each district is sort of fairly specific to the type of Ganassi that lives there. So there is one for the Earth Ganassi, there is one for the Water Ganassi, there is one for the Air Ganassi, and there is one for the what have I missed?
Fire
Ganassi, yes, thank you. I lost track there in the middle. So there's different quarter based around each one's different elemental attunement. You would also find out. You know what? Actually, you would also hear tell of a spire in the center of the desert. A spire in the centre of the desert, which is once played host to a mighty dragon, but is now inhabited by a half dragon and a host of wyverns.
Interesting.
Every time I hear the word half dragon, I always wonder how they actually. I'm not gonna finish that sentence.
Dragons can shapeshift, remember?
Oh yeah.
They can take on human form.
Thank God.
That's how. And that is called Phoenix Spire. You find the name Phoenix Spire.
Okay.
So those are the 2 bits of information that you find in your research on Yangguo. Okay. So a week passes. You Vine helped out in the infirmary, doing various bits and pieces of healing, using up some magic each day to assist Blossom in their sort of attempts at healing, and that may well have some benefits. You don't know as of yet. Malaya would also help you as well.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
Hickey Veems wasn't always Hickey Veems seemed to disappear for a little while. He was in and out every now and then, but he wasn't there as much as the rest of you were. You often saw him disappear for hours at a time. Don't know what he's doing. He never told you anything. That's it. A week later, you all gather back up. And you meet up with Fiona in her little sort of like meeting room.
Did Ragnar do anything fancy?
No, Ragnar, well, you just said you were going to help out in... you were going to go to a tavern, basically do some help out with some of the brewing and get pissed for a week.
Yeah, but do they have any escapades?
Oh, you want to go out on a drunken bender?
Yeah, it's a 7-day bender, mate.
So you want to do 7 carousing checks?
Yes! I will happily roll a 7 on each.
He's going to end up without a kidney, isn't he?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Say goodbye to your liver.
Roll a D100 plus your level.
7 of these? Or
Well, we'll start out with 1 because there's certain things. Just roll 1 for the
D100
moment. Plus your level.
3. Six. I die.
I'm so fucking good. I'm so glad. I'm
You
so
lost
glad you
your
rolled
kidneys
this.
and fell in love with a troll.
You get so drunk that you start a bar fight.
How?
Initiative? Am I rolling anything?
No,
No,
you're
no,
not
no.
rolling initiative because almost as soon as this bar fight begins, the guards descend.
Yeah, you realise they have massive mechs.
They drag you off, and you are put in jail for 4 days.
Oh,
Okay. Wait. I've still got 2 more.
are you going to drink again?
I've still got 2 more
At
days.
the end of those 4 days, they fine you.
How much?
How much gold have you got?
Got 105 gold.
They would charge you 50 gold.
Oh,
Go for
okay.
a bar fight. That seems a bit.
That's honestly better than I thought.
Fair
Like,
enough.
I thought it would have been like, how much gold do you have? 105. That'd be 105, please.
Okay, that's done.
And charge you 50 gold
Done.
for disturbing
Right.
the peace.
Okay.
You want to do 2 more of these?
Yeah, tell you what, it's with Ragnar. Of course. He's got a week of downtime.
Go on then.
Okay, D100 plus
He rolls a
3.
10 again.
This is what.
If he rolls under a 10 again, I'm gonna fucking wet myself.
If you get a free,
15, okay.
18.
You regain consciousness with no memory of how you got there, and you have been robbed. Roll 3d6 times 5.
you
3d6.
Ragnar.
Times 5.
You lose 55 gold.
That's the rest of my gold.
You lost
Right.
all your gold.
Yeah,
You've got one more roll if you really want it.
I do.
You lost all your gold. You fucking.
It's 19.
I got robbed. I got robbed.
You got robbed again. You literally remove all of your gold. And in actual fact... Right, okay.
What?
My campaign.
So I'm guessing this whole week we haven't actually seen him.
Well, you see him a few bits and pieces. Yeah, you basically no. You see him during the day. But evenings,
No, but
Ragnar's just gone.
But didn't you say you would be helping around the pub? So, no, helping around the tavern.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I
So on the days we wouldn't see him,
I've already
and
got
in
sacked.
the nights we wouldn't see him.
Ragnar,
Should I just get rid of all my money, Owen?
get rid of all your money,
Okay.
and your Warhammer is gone.
Oh!
Oh, are you serious? Come on, that's 1,000. What was I?
Yeah, it's an incredibly fucking valuable item.
I wouldn't have my Warhammer with me at a fucking carousing night. Come on.
Well, you run out of money, then steal the stuff, the shit that you've got on you. It's
We need
a
to find
valuable
that
item.
Okay. Our next task is finding that
That's
person.
it. It's gone. It got stolen. You got
Are you
pissed.
serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Wait, Ragnar,
You ran
where's
out
your
of gold.
Warhammer?
They would they would steal the shit that you've got on you.
I wouldn't go drinking with a Warhammer on my back, but fine.
Well, where else are you gonna leave it? That's the question, because you've got nowhere to leave it in the hideout. You can't store it there. There is still the Morning Star that you have that Mayala took off of you, but you don't know whether or not she's used it for something yet.
Alright, fine. Not happy.
Ragnar, where's your Warhammer?
Got robbed.
Seriously?
Yeah. I feel that's a bit steep comparing to how the maximum amount I could lose is what 18 times 5 or something like that versus a 1,000 gold Warhammer. I mean, I've got potions of healing on there, something like that. Like, I feel like that would be a more fairer.
Well, you've got potions of healing, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got
How many
potions
you
of
got?
healing.
You've got 2 of them.
I've got 2.
Okay,
So I'd probably
well,
say-
you can take 2 potions of healing away, and you can keep your Warhammer then.
Thank you. I feel like that's if it's potions, that's fair enough. I feel like Warhammer's fucking expensive.
Well,
Jeez.
you rolled,
Okay.
you got drunk and got robbed. Your Warhammer's really
I-
fucking expensive.
I agree. Thank you. I appreciate the kindness.
Okay, so
You rolled it. You decided to go on a 7-day fucking bender. Not me.
I think that will be like stumbling in, like marks all across his body, sort of like grazes and bruises.
Yeah, he's not
Covering
looking. He's
him.
not looking in good shape. Let's put it that way. He ain't looking in good shape.
And I'm just and
I lost my potions.
you've lost.
Oh, I got robbed. I lost 50 gold when I started a bar fight. I was in jail for 4 nights. Then I lost my other 55 gold. The next day I got robbed. And then I got robbed again. I lost
Ragnar,
my potions.
Ragnar, at this point, I would seriously consider you, like, cease mass drinking.
Wait, Ragnar, you went to prison.
Aye.
Oh no, the guard's gonna keep an eye on you now.
Aye.
Great, you've just become a liability.
You know what? It's fine. Just
Did you ensure that no one
can
followed
be a
you?
distraction.
I don't
be a
think they'd
good-
be happy. I don't think they'd be interested in someone who just gets drunk and starts fights. I feel like we should be fine.
Ugh.
The owner is sat at the other side of the table, just facing her hand.
No. I think Ragnar wouldn't be on the table. He would be in the infirmary.
No, he probably would be, but he's probably come round and come back again
Yeah.
there by now, I would have
Oh,
thought.
wait, also, with the bridge,
Yes.
could I use mending on it? Like every single plank individually?
You could try. What does mending do? Read me the description.
Let's see.
Is it men stuff?
The spell repairs a single break or tear in an object, such as a broken chain link, 2 halves of a broken key, a torn cloak, or a leaking wineskin, as long as the break or tear is no longer than 1 foot in any dimension.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
This is, I mean, it's you can repair some of the cracks in it, but some of these there's like missing chunks of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That makes sense.
Wait,
So you could try, but it's not going to do a massive amount. It's not going to make a massive difference.
So it's
Also,
a week then.
also during the week, I spent some time with Melina.
Mayala, yeah.
Mayala.
I realised something. Are there birds down here?
Well, yeah, there is actually.
Yeah,
There is, and it seems to be because you stay in the sewers for quite some time. Each day, every day, you stay down here. And you actually see that Shadow, who is the sort of like the informant, she's the spy, or they, because again you can't tell if they're male or female. And I keep switching between whether or not it's a he or a she, and I keep describing them as that. But
I think Shadow sounds like a. Ooh,
Shadow, you can't tell. You just physically can't tell. Because they. I spent like when I introduced them, I referred to them as a he, and then later on I started referring to them as a she, and now I'm starting with a she, and I'll probably refer to them as a he later. I've got no idea what the fuck I'm going on about.
I thought it was a gender-neutral pronoun. Of
they. That's what I'm trying to do, but I keep fucking it up.
It's.
They. You actually see that they have like messenger birds, like pigeons or maybe a raven or something like that, which actually nests in a little a drain pipe just outside. And Shadow seems to use this to gather messages.
That's really useful.
Because there's openings and stuff like that in leading to the surface here and there, but they're not large openings. They're almost like sewer grates most of the time.
Okay, that's nice.
So you regroup into this sort of like main meeting room where Fiona and Shadow normally take up residence and stuff like that. And Fiona says, you just in time actually. Zendris has just arrived back.
Ollie, where is he?
Yeah, come, and I'll show you. I'll take you to him. So Fiona leads you up to the room just at the top here. And she opens the doors for you. It's quite cramped in there. Zendris is not exactly small, so I'll quickly introduce you to them. He knows about you already anyway, so I'll just. There you go. In you go.
Here we go.
As you walk in, a fucking insane sight greets you. In front of you floats a difficult to describe creature.
Do I mean attack it?
But wait for me to describe it, and you can decide. It floats in the air, and it's basically just this orb, a ball with a single great massive eye in the centre and a mouth of razor sharp teeth. And coming out of it are 8, best be described as tentacles, but each one has an eye on the end of it. And it's floating there, and it's scaled. It's got really sharp, pointed scales across its body, in sort of like in a dark browny orange in colour. You can all roll me. You can all roll me an intelligence check very quickly to see if you know what this creature is.
No.
Ragnar, you can do this with disadvantage.
I'm hoping.
What's my intelligence? There it is, +4. Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad I got moved this.
Yeah, I don't recognise the
Hey,
beast.
no, you don't recognise this. You don't recognise
Oh.
this. Let's see if Ikivine recognises it.
So I take
No.
out my quarterstaff and cast Shillelagh in preparation.
I'm.
In fact, let's have a look. What's his intelligence? No, he doesn't recognise it. No.
I immediately storm it, saying, "It's eaten, Zendris!" Ah!
Hey, Ragnar, that is Zendris. Stop.
I,
Calm down. That is Zendris.
What is he? I've never seen one of his kind before.
Puny creatures, I am Zendris. I am a beholder.
How dare you call me puny?
Yeah. Your strength compares nothing to mine, you worthless creature.
My name is Ragnar Brotbeard of Clan Wolfjungen.
I
How
do
dare
not
you
care.
insult me?
I wish to conduct business with you.
Business is one thing I shall talk about. What sort of business are you after?
I wish to convert these, showing the black sapphires, into more reliable currency.
Ooh, gemstones. Interesting. Large size. Ooh, high worth. I would put these above 5,000 gold each. Yes, I can get these sorted for you. I can do it now. I have a vast stores of gold that would be at your disposal.
Thank you.
And as it's floating in the air, its eyes are all looking in different directions. So all of the eye stalks are sort of like whipping around. They're looking in different directions. One of them is looking at Ragnar, one at Vine, one at Ikivine, one at Feldisa, and each different things. Even when it turns its back on you, it's still looking at you.
I will crush that eye if you keep it on me.
I would like to see you try, puny dwarf.
Ragnar, please, can you stop antagonizing the beholder?
Frankly,
That's
you are all beneath me, but I shall do business because I would love the wealth.
Actually, I quite respect his gab. He's very. If he's as strong as he is, I would much love to fight him one day.
I would love to see you immolated, dwarf. Well, that is what would happen.
It means incinerated.
Ah.
Well, at least this one shows some vague intelligence, unlike the dwarf. Yes, I can change those across for you. Is there anything else that I can do for you?
Well, for me, that's all I really wanted to done.
Very well.
I've got my eye on you.
How about you, bird, or you petulant dwarf, or Asimar?
What about us? What can you offer?
I am the master of the Thieves Guild here. I can offer you anything you desire if you have the coin for it.
That's the thing. I have no coin left.
Well then be gone, you're not interesting to me. You're not worth my time.
Ollie,
Puny mortals beneath me.
I mean, we've got this 100 grand, don't we?
He's basically not listening, he's muttering under his breath.
Well, I guess
Fiona's still sort of like stood outside after Ragnar nearly punched her contact and got himself immolated. Yeah, no, you didn't.
So how?
No,
so
you
how much
really didn't.
How much did we get from the
100,000 gold, 10,000 platinum.
Right. How are we doing this? Are we gonna joint account?
Yeah, I think joint account, and we can just pull from it when we want. But obviously, we need some money, just like in each of our inventories, just in case.
Right. So, shall we go about buying an airship?
Well, first we should browse before. we choose to
Wow.
buy.
Squishy. A beholder
Yeah.
right, is a challenge level 13.
Oh no! Trust me. I understand. He's really tough.
Oh
I've
no, I
been
know. I
to-
just want to give you. I want to give you a little bit of context here. It's
I
got
know, I know.
180 hit points. It's got 18 natural armor class.
Fuck
He has
me.
8 different eye rays. No, sorry, 9 different eye rays. 1 charms you, 1 paralyzes you, 1 causes you to have immense fear, 1 slows you down, 1 deals necrotic damage to you at 8d8. 1 is telekinetic, so it can move things around, and you watch this sort of like this creature sort of like telekinesis things out of a vault that you can see
This
back
sounds-
here.
Owen, can we please fight something like this one day?
Maybe. 1 puts you to sleep. 1 petrifies you. 1 disintegrates you. And 1 is simply called a death ray.
How much damage
I'm
does it do?
truly thinking War of the Worlds at that point.
How much
does
damage
10
the
D10.
death rate?
Ouch.
Ooh.
10d10,
Oh
which is an
my
average
God.
of 55 damage.
I mean, that's basically
That-
I'd
At
also like to
least
read
that
because the
does half
disintegration ray is really, really interesting, right? So, disintegration ray does 10d8 damage. You have to succeed a DC 16 Dex save, or take 45 10d8 damage. The damage reduces a creature to 0 hit points. Sorry, if the damage reduces a creature to 0 hit points, its body becomes a pile of fine grey dust.
We
Yeah.
can't even like.
I just
attempt
so
him.
yeah. I just wanted to give you a little bit of context
Yeah.
on the creature that you just pissed off.
Admittedly, none of us know what this thing is.
No, I
Yeah,
know.
I
This is for characters. This is for players' minds only.
Yeah.
Ragnar
if we
would
were
still.
to
I
attack
very
it-
much appreciate Ragnar would
Yeah.
still have gone like meh at it.
Yeah.
That would be That would be
Yeah.
Ragnar. I fully agree with that.
No,
I
but
just wanted
I
to give
think- I think
you, like,
yeah.
I wanted to give Squishy and you, the rest
I
of you
think- I
context.
I
Admittedly,
think
Ragnar. Sorry, go on.
I think Ragnar would still be intimidated, but
Yeah,
like
exactly.
try and hide it.
That's what I was about to say. Like Ragnar
Yeah.
will appreciate a strong force because it was basically Ragnar was biting and waiting for his enemies to bite back.
Yeah, and
and-
you would, but he gives off an air of he is literally, he
Yeah.
believes he is above you. He
Yeah.
looks down on lesser creatures in
Yeah.
his eyes.
But
If
Ragnar
you'll
doesn't
excuse
like
the
to
pun.
show fear. Ragnar doesn't show fear often.
No, and I mean, this creature gives off an ominous presence.
Yeah.
It is a terrifying presence. You can
Yeah.
feel that it has some magical abilities, those eye stalks, because it's moving,
What?
it's like telekinesis
Right.
things around and stuff like that. So you can feel and tell this thing has immense power.
Did Vine just give him a cuddle?
Yeah, Vine just gave him a cuddle. He
I
is
just
big.
got a jump on him.
He's a large
Oh,
creature. He's 10 foot across, and that does include all of the
Jesus.
tentacles.
What is his response to the cuddle?
I didn't actually cuddle him.
I'm presuming that Vine is probably pissing his pants as well at this point.
Yeah, I'm just kind of petrified, just staring at this.
Because I mean,
Thing as it
this
stares
thing
at me
is
back.
ominous. It's terrifying, and it seems like it's almost like it's a little bit mad as well. So it's muttering to itself, and it tells itself to shut up at one point, etc., etc. So it's kind of it's not. It doesn't seem all with it.
Yeah.
But whether or not it
I-
is mad, you don't know. You can't tell.
Shall we go ship shopping then?
Okay.
Weird way to put it, but I think we should do it.
Yeah, so in terms of monetary, so all 20 black sapphires sold for, was it 1,000 platinum?
The 10,000 platinum, so it should be 100,000 gold.
Yeah, if you do it at 100,000 gold, it might just be easier.
Yeah, he probably would. Just put it at 100,000 gold.
Until we bought the airship, whatever.
I think we should focus on the airship, then get supplies.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I think we should get like potions for Ragnar.
Yeah.
Thing if he got mugged.
Don't worry about me for now. Until we expect a combat situation, we should probably keep as much money as we can for like releasing an army. Almost.
So currently, our current sort of gold pot consists of 100,233 gold.
Is that 100,000? That's a million, mate.
I thought.
That's 100,000.
I wish we had 1 million.
I think it's a million. I'm not
Just
sure.
ignore one of the zeros.
That'd be 100.
Doesn't matter, as long as you know how much you've got, that's fine. As long as you know how much you've got.
With 1 million gold, we pretty much could buy an army.
You probably could. You could fund an army with
Yeah.
1 million gold, yeah. So, what do you guys want to do? That you've sold all of these gems to this beholder?
Let's go buy an airship!
Gonna go buy
Yeah.
an airship, are you?
We're gonna go
Yeah.
buy an airship.
Well, one
We also
second.
need to get a crew as well.
Like that as well, but like, we need the we need a name for it.
You need an airship first.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm gonna try and think of a name for it while we figure all that out.
Some of them might come with names.
I know, but I wanna like paint over it in Ragnar
You know,
racing.
it's like seriously bad luck to change the name of a ship.
Oh, true.
Like seriously bad luck. Like really bad luck.
Ollie, fair enough.
I know, but it
Yeah,
probably
last
wouldn't give
thing
us,
we
like,
last thing
disadvantage on
we
our
want
check.
is
Oh,
is for
I would
lightning
make
to
some
strike.
way of it being bad, but Ollie, trust me.
Yeah. Ollie,
I've heard that sort of changing a ship's name generally is a sign of bad luck. So how about we don't change its name?
Ollie,
Last thing I want is lightning to strike the ship and it catches fire and burns to the
Yeah,
ground.
let's just find one with a good name. Let's
Fair
not
enough.
change it.
Ollie, let's do it.
So, okay. Take you back to this map because I don't have a map for this place, so it's a bit theatre of the
we
mind.
could probably find one that's unnamed. We could find one which is unnamed.
You might be able to
That'd
get
be
one
nice.
made for you. You don't know. So,
No way, that'd be way too expensive.
settled atop a sunny foothill just outside of town. So you just get out of the area of the smog. Takes you maybe a couple of hours to travel out that far. And atop this foothill, you can see the place is called Easy Slightly Used Airships. Which is an emporium of flying craft and accessories. So from a distance, you can see it's a large enclosed area with a brightly painted wall and 3 rooftops poking over the top of it.
I just realised, does anyone here know how to fly an airship?
Hold on,
what we did.
let me finish explaining. Let me finish describing and shit.
Yeah, fine.
So from a distance, you can see that there's this large mage tower, which at the top of it is kind of orbited by a neon illusion of the word Izzy's. And it glows like neon pink. Well, in fact, actually, no, it glows neon, but like multicoloured, like rainbow. So it's changing all the time. As you get closer and as you sort of inspect the walls, you see that the 20-foot tall walls are brightly painted with depictions of the current ships for sale, as well as some of the ones that have been recently sold. As you approach the door, so there's this big gate leading into the massive walled-off area. You are met by a Goliath. So she's very huge, very tall. Hang on, let me find her description. It's down here. NPCs, where's NPCs? I want that. Oh, there's Izzy. I don't want Izzy just yet. I want NPCs. Where's Granite? There's Granite. She's tall, literally black skin. It looks like sort of polished granite, which is obviously, you guess where her namesake comes from. She's wielding a huge 2-handed hammer. It's massive. It literally, the head of the hammer is about almost the same size as Ragnar. So it is massive.
No, Ragnar, you're not gonna fuck a Goliath.
and she holds a hand out, stopping you, and says to you, "Stop. Before you go in, I need you to submit to a credit check and search."
Credit check?
Yes, Izzy requires a little bit of guarantee that you do have the coin. Security and all that.
I pushed that solicitor ahead with the.
I sort of show off the 100,000 gold coins we've got.
2,000 would have done. But other than that,
I'm sorry, but I'm just trying. I'm just making sure that we have enough.
I believe you should have plenty enough. Very quickly, just submit to a security check, and I shall let you inside, and you can start browsing. There is a visitor centre across the way that you can head to, where Izzy should be, and you can talk to her. And there is one place that you cannot go. It's the far end of the compound, which is the manor, which is our home.
Yeah, it makes sense. You can't go in your house.
Yes, that's if you go anywhere near that, then you will see the twins. And trust me, the twins do not appreciate unwelcome visitors. So she basically, all she's going to do is she's just going to check to see that you're not dangerous. That's it. So she's going to give a quick check over. She's going to tag your weapons.
I thought she was going to do a pat down.
Yeah, well, that's effectively what she's doing. Yeah, she's just checking to see what weapons that you've got, and so on and so forth. What are you doing? What did you just say, Ragnar?
No. You said pat down. I'm thinking squish.
Pat down, squish.
You said it's a giant person, right?
Yeah, I mean she's a Goliath, so she stands about 7-8 feet tall.
Ragnar,
so she's not giant, but she's big.
That's what I mentioned. Like she's patting down, squish.
I mean, no, she's not like.
I know.
Heavy-handed, like a giant would literally squish you with like an accidental flick.
That's the image I had in my mind at first, because I was thinking like literally a hand going in the way of a door or something.
No, not quite. So you head over. Once you pass the panic, blah 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 blah. Let me go through. So you head across, and the inside of this area is effective. It's all stone. It's kind of tarmacked. And there is an old airship hangar in the one corner. There's the Mage's Tower, and then there's this. You can see the mansion across to one side, and sort of flying around it are what you see to be 2 dragons. One in gold and one in black. That are sort of like, one is potentially lounging in front of the mansion on the floor, and there's sort of a grassy area around the mansion. It's lounging on the grass in front of it, and the gold is probably either perched on top of the roof or flying its way around the compound.
I guess those 2 are the twins.
Bronze, sorry, not gold, bronze.
Beautiful.
And now they don't. I mean, if you look a little bit closer, so you can roll me a perception check.
Okay.
Can I roll a perception check?
Yeah, anyone can roll me a perception check to see this. Ragnar, no. Yeah, you're nothing. So decent, good, okay, nice roll. Fine, even better. Cool, lovely. So Seldisa and Vine, you spot that the forelegs of these dragons seem to be. They look misshapen. They look smaller than they should be, like little T-Rex arms.
Wait,
I'm miming T-Rex arms in front of the camera.
Do they look a little bit like sausage dogs?
No, I mean they're hind legs that are like full-grown, big
okay.
dragon legs. It's just that like
Oh,
literally, like I say,
okay,
T-Rex
that's what I
arms.
mean.
So their arms are
Okay,
like tiny.
Oh, that's adorable.
I mean they're great big fuck-off dragons. I mean the
Yeah.
black one has is glowing green eyes, and it's got the two horns coming out of its the side of its head and pointing forwards. So they come in line with its eyes and point forwards, whereas the bronze has two sort of like shorter spines coming out the top of its head, coming back. And they are armoured as well. I'd point out both of them are wearing plated armour that goes right the way down their necks and across their chests.
Interesting.
That is slightly terrifying.
So you head across to the visitor centre, and before you go in, I think we'll pause just there and we'll go for a break because it's quarter past. Good point for us to break, and I need the loo. So, do we have a 5-minute break? So if we come back at 20 past, yeah, guys.
Yeah.
Happy with that? Everyone happy?
Yeah, I'm
Squishy?
happy.
Good. Right.
Yeah, I'm
okay.
good.
Let's go for a quick break. So we'll be back in 5 minutes, guys. That are watching. We've got 3 viewers. Oh, look at that.
It's all of us.
It's all of you guys anyway, so basically nobody. Because it's just Izzy, basically. So, right. Back in 5.
Okay.
Okay, right. Hey, we're back.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Put the
Careful
ambient
now.
music back on. Okay. So, you're at Izzy's Airship Emporium. Or Izzy's slightly used airships. So,
Why are they slightly used?
sorry?
Why are they slightly used as opposed to just used?
Dunno. So, you walk across this sort of like tarmac, stone-laid field across to the building that you were pointed towards by Granite, to the visitor centre. You open the door and you are immediately, it's a nice cosy little room with little like waiting chairs and stuff like that, and you immediately spot this gnome. So it's a female gnome. She's got bright blue hair streaked with greens and stuff like that, and she wears a little bit of a kind of like a dress skirt. I need to kind of see if I can get you a picture of it.
Take it gnome panties off the table.
No, because the gnome is the same size as you are, you idiot.
I know.
Definitely not.
Wow. This isn't WoW either.
Exactly. I will try and get you a picture of her at some point. And she will bound up from her chair, where she seems to be doing a little bit of paperwork, but half-heartedly. She sort of bounds up from her chair and goes, "Hello, hello. My name is Easy Bingle of Bottlefront the Third. You can just call me Easy.
Ragnar! I am Ragnar of Brothbeard.
Welcome, welcome. Yourselves? Hey, Kevin, we'll just...
Self-distance.
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah. And I am fine. Pleasure to meet you.
The pleasure to meet you all. I presume you're here to have a look at some airships?
Yes, I'm curious though. Why are they slightly used?
Oh well, I buy them on sort of like second hand, and it was slightly used sounds better than used, so it's a bit sort of like it looks good on the side.
False advertisements, you mean?
Sorry?
Just a little bit of false advertisement, I guess. I jokingly say.
It's not false advertisement. They are slightly used, so
True.
Just-
I guess.
wording.
Just underplayed. Well, fair enough.
Yeah, just
Question
well, no,
is-
they are slightly. They're not in bad nick. They've just had previous owners.
Alright, as long as the quality.
Oh, you shall find no finer used airships in all of Inveria. In all of the living
Alright.
territories, in fact, because I don't believe anyone else sells them. What can I do for you? What sort of ship are you looking for? I mean, we have plenty of ships available for you.
An airship.
Well, that is what I do
Yeah.
here.
We're
big
looking for one. We're looking for one that could potentially go between kingdoms.
I mean, well, all of them would. You would need the right amount of sort of like supplies for them. Should I show you what sort of stock that we've got?
Aye.
Well,
How's
that'd
about-
be wonderful.
What
Yes.
about one that could theoretically hold a small or moderately sized army?
You don't have anything that big, I'm afraid. I have a couple of old warships, though.
Warships.
Yeah, so there's some of them that are designed to sort of like in combat, work combat-wise. Let me show you what I've got. And she'll sort of take you
yeah.
out into the yard. Into the yard, I say. Great big fucking mile-long yard. And she'll take you around some of the airships that she's got. There is this sort of like hangar at the back, but there's nothing in there at the moment that she describes to you as. But she'll take you around a few of the different ones. So she takes you at the first one. She takes you up to. Hang on. Find the description of it.
Wait, hang on, if you sell slightly used airships, you're the only person that sells airships in the living territories.
Only person
Where
that
have
sells
you-
used airships.
Oh, okay. No, I was gonna say.
Yeah. So she takes you up to this slightly mad-looking airship. It's got this great big purple balloon, which is huge, and part of it is actually made out of stone. It's made to look like a wizard's tower. Other than that,
Do I
it's got
recognise the
these
stone?
massive, great big propellers at the back. It's got what looks like a great big steam engine. And she walks up. Izzy goes, "Isn't it gorgeous? The brightly coloured ballast, the darker wick hull, the brass trimmings, that granite forecastle, and polished impeller. It's just perfect. This is my favourite ship." Favourite ship in the entire yard. I'd be almost heartbroken to give it up. So it's called the Fuchsia Mimsy. It's originally it was commissioned by a fairly eccentric old wizard who wanted a flying mage's tower. He wanted it to be portable.
Is this Fumblemore?
It's not Fumblemore. No.
It's not like Fumblemore.
It was built by a team of gnomish artificers. And it's undergone a few modifications here and there. I know, for example, that the impeller, the peller, it was damaged previously in a lightning storm, and the mage was not quite familiar with the aerodynamics behind it being built by gnomes. So he just sort of enchanted it and cobbled it back together until it started working again. So I understand it looks a little bit bizarre because it looks as though it like disobeys the laws of the natural world, because it does a little bit.
Is it? Do you have one that is slightly more subtle?
I'm sure we can find one, but let me tell you the details about this one. So it is worth 4,550 platinum. So 45,500 gold. Its speed is 8 miles an hour. It takes a crew of 10 people and has passengers of 15. And has a cargo space of 25 tons. It has a few lovable quirks. Okay, which they will kind of describe to you. Izzy will describe to you. It's any skill checks required to pilot this ship are done with disadvantage unless the pilot is a gnome or has a wisdom score of 9 or lower. It is infested with rats, and they have learned.
At the mention of rats,
hold on.
Stop talking.
The rats have learned how to operate the boiler.
As funny as it is,
Izzy says we seem to be keeping them happy with by plying them with a constant supply of wine and cheese. That seems to keep them happy.
You've been saving for a long time, haven't you, Owen?
I've been saving this for fucking ages.
Alright, at the very mention of that,
I haven't finished yet.
Shit.
There's more.
No.
So it's got a quasi-magical sort of semi-propulsion because of the propeller being enchanted, which means that the sort of like strong winds don't affect it quite so much. Each of the I'm just going to go through these out of character. Each of the passenger cabins is attended by an unseen servant who is at the beck and call of the room's occupants. It cannot aid with the operation of the ship, though. It's gorgeously garish. All perception checks made to locate the Fuchsia Mimsy are made with advantage. And it is a wild ride. The entire area of this craft and a 20-foot radius around its hull count as a wild magic zone.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
No?
Can we have something?
Wait. By wild magic zone, does that mean like every magic thing you do, you have to use wild magic?
Has a potential to be wild magic, yeah.
Yeah, it was like what we had earlier, basically.
Oh,
kind of similar, not quite, but similar.
I can see that. I can see some this and is Veen with us? Is Icky Veen with us, or is he still?
Icky Veen's with you, but Icky Veen's kind of a bit. He seems to be a little bit quieter than normal. So. No, not floating your boat, as it were.
I think you'd be upset. You'd be upset to lose this one.
I would be very upset to lose this one. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous ship. In that case, then let me show you the Nissos. So look at this beautiful, powerful, and frigging epic ship. Not unlike myself. It's actually named after an ancient king of the sea eagles. It's the single largest, toughest ship I have on the lot. Save the Ouroboros, which is it's out of commission at the moment. I can't sell that one because it's currently not working. It's literally, this is one of my warships. This is built for war. Kind of aggressive, or at least aggressive trade. It's seen a lot of action, and in fact, I know that its previous owner was a sky pirate. Who's fortunately long since she's been punished for her crimes and executed. So I bought it from the impound auction and refurbished it to mint condition. Unlike most of the sort of like lighter than air, you what?
Refurbished to mint condition.
Refurbished to mint condition. Yes, this is what they wrote. This. I've got it. I've got the description here. It says refurbished it to mint condition. I know. Shut up. Shut up.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I love it.
I know, it's brilliant, isn't it? Okay. Unlike the other lighter than aircraft on the lot, the Nissos has fully armoured air bladders, which you can see on those dark wood nacelles floating on the top, which is very, very high strength and durability. And for just 6,500 platinum, you could own this one yourself. The undefeated Nissos. And it's this big. It's kind of. It looks very similar to an ordinary ship, but it's got these two great big nacelles coming off the top, which house the balloons.
Buddy.
I don't think. I think undefeated is the best word for it, seeing as the pirate got captured.
Well, as far as I'm aware, she wasn't on the ship when she got captured.
Well, okay then.
So, right, let me give you the details. It's worth 65,000 gold. Its tonnage is 75 tons. It's 6 miles an hour. It requires a crew of 25 people. Its passenger count is 50. And by the way, the crew takes up that passenger count. It's got a cargo of 50 tons. Blah 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 blah. It's about 80 foot long. It's got some lovable quirks again. Okay.
Lovable quirks mean disadvantage issues.
Potentially. So it's Izzy tells you it's probably haunted.
Oh.
The ship has seen the final moments of hundreds of airmen. It's likely that at least some of their spirits still wander its passages. It has a militant infestation.
What's a militant?
This ship's rats are led by Valorex the All-Mother. Her banner is a cat's skull on a red background. Her alliance can only be won by a show of force. Godspeed.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Are all of her airships got rats?
No, not all of them. Just
most of them?
The ship is bred for war. The Nissos has a long history and is fairly recognisable by seasoned airmen. Any history treks made to identify it have advantage, and many who would recognise it see it as a threat or a show of force.
I don't know. I've got a good collection going.
The Nissos, it has conventional propulsion, so it suffers from all the normal penalties for adverse wind conditions. And it has a brig, so it has a prisoner's brig in its hold, which 10 of the passenger spaces are designed to hold 10 prisoners.
Come on.
It's basically Ragnar. A big bit for Ragnar. Ollie, do we have any non-haunted, non-rat infested airships?
Rat infested? I'll come back to. There isn't. There is. I don't know. Interesting. There's the Thimble. It's a nice little cute quirky boat. It was owned by a family. It's a very old boat though. It's a gorgeous, like, little very homely boat. So she takes you to a boat. It looks just like a normal fishing barge. It's like a tiny ass little fishing barge, but it's got these two great big opening doors in the bottom of it. And she says that that's where it is both a seafaring boat and an airfaring boat. So it can sail like a normal ship, but those sort of like bay doors open up on the bottom, and the bladder inflates out of that, and then it can fly.
I'm starting to think that slightly yields was quite an understatement.
Its cost is 5,500 gold. Its tonnage is 2 tons. Speed is 4 miles an hour. It only takes 1 crew, but only has 4 passenger spaces. Its cargo is 1 ton.
That's not very good.
The tests of time, lovable quirks. These are test of time. It is old. You can't fix one thing without breaking another. Repairs for it take twice as long and cost 50% more than normal.
Also, we would probably have to leave someone behind, considering that Hickbeam's still part of our group.
It has a vexing infestation, so this ship has rats. The one with the peg leg is their leader. Don't look him in the eyes, and you'll be fine. That's what it says. It has conventional propulsion like the last one. It's very cramped.
How did the rat get a peg leg?
Doesn't say. Izzy doesn't know. I've kind of been leaving them to their own devices, to be honest. I don't really want to. Yeah, I don't want to know. It has cramped quarters. The passenger space listed in the stat block is for sitting only. Doesn't come with enough space for passengers to sleep.
Alright. I don't think this is the one for this.
No? Oh, it's a cute little boat. It's also convertible as well.
Do you have anything in the market for like 7?
I think we should have a look around at like a good amount of them before we choose which ones we want and don't want, respectively.
If you want something a little bit larger, so the Nisos is one of the larger ones, but if you want something a little bit more luxurious, we have the Wild Alraid. And the Wild Alraid is a gorgeous, very, very majestic ship.
Hold on.
I accidentally missed out some bits, and it's because my computer sort of froze up.
Oh, don't we've had a bunch of...
We've got it. Don't worry. The last, if you missed the thimble, you didn't miss much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nissan is probably the next best.
Nisos is, I'm presuming the Nisos is the one that you heard last, yeah?
I heard sort of most of the sort of fishing one.
Oh, you didn't miss much then.
And yeah, it's all cut out sort of at the end.
No, you didn't miss much.
We don't want the thimble.
So, this ship, gorgeous, friggin' gorgeous. It's shaped like a great big crescent moon, but in the middle of the crescent moon there's almost like a bridge coming out, and in that bridge is a great big orb of lightning, wind, etc., etc. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous ship. It was sort of designed by the Eladrin as a pleasure cruiser ship. It was built for an Eladrin noble, a Duke of the Northeastern Wind. He abandoned it long ago because he transcended into a being of pure lightning. It's propelled by a raging storm elemental who is imprisoned for grievous crimes against the Autumn Court. And it's significantly faster than a standard airship would be. And it doesn't wind, rain, so weather does not even come close to affecting it.
Before I hear any more, I need to know what price. I don't want to get myself overexcited.
Oh, well, this one is worth 10,000 platinum. So it's worth 100,000 gold.
Okay, so that's exactly the amount we've got. Let's hear the rest, though.
Yeah, let's hear the rest.
So, it's lovable quirks. Excuse me. This ship requires attunement from its pilot. So it would take up one of your attunement slots if you were the pilot. It is sentient.
Okay.
It can speak Elven and Sylvan. I'm not going to give you the details because sentience. It does have a personality. And Izzy will say it does get a little bit grouchy if it hasn't been flying for a while. It likes being in the air.
When was the last time you flew?
I mean, we try and fly it for a week. Any time over a week, it gets a little bit grouchy.
He sounds like a dog.
Well, I mean, it's probably because of the storm elemental that powers it. It has an ecclesiastical infestation. So this ship has rats. They worship the storm orb as a god.
Okay.
One only hopes that they aren't right. It's got magical propulsion, so whilst fierce winds can push the ship around, it is not dependent on the wind for movement. And lap of luxury, no expense was spared in the construction of this ship. It is wealthy and aristocratic. The cost of wealthy and aristocratic downtime spent on the vessel is halved. The problem with it is, so it can land without actually touching the ground. And the bottom half of the crescent unfolds to reveal a staircase. It can also land in water, and it can even submerge beneath the waves.
It's a submarine.
The ship's design does have one major restriction. Since the ship cabin is completely enclosed, it cannot be equipped with any weaponry.
Fuck.
Instead, captains must rely on the ship's superior speed to evade any hostiles. So it's worth 100,000 gold. Its tonnage is 35 tons. It's 12 miles an hour. Its speed. So it's significantly faster than the others. It takes a crew of 5 and has 10 passenger spaces, but it only has a cargo of 2 tons.
Yeah, but the thing is, it is the exact amount of gold that we have, but we would still need to buy crew.
I have a feeling that it'd be better to get, as lovely as the ship is, I think we need weaponry as well.
I mean, those are the options that I have as standard. I mean, we can talk about making one a little bit more customized to you.
Do you have like an exact speed for the ship? Or...
Yes, 12 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So you can customize ships, yes?
So we can build a customized one. I've actually been working on a design recently that we could put together. Me and Collie could put together for you. Let me show you. So,
what would your standard price go for?
Let me show you it first, and we'll talk about that.
You're going to literally show us?
I am indeed. You can zoom into this as well.
I feel like this is the thing we're going to be going for because I was made a design for us.
You can go for whatever. I just built this map because I had spare time and was bored. So, it's an unnamed craft. I don't have a name for it at the moment. It's a wonderful little thing. It would probably cost you to build 65,000 gold, but there are some customization options that you could go for, which would cost a little bit extra. It requires 30 crew, and of course you'd need officers on top of that, etc., to keep it running. It has space for 40 people though, so for 32 spaces of modest accommodation, which is, if you see the 4 rooms across the top with the bunk beds, each one of those rooms holds 8 people, and there's 2 bedrooms down the bottom, which each one holds 4 people and are comfortable accommodation. It has a galley, which is that larger room across there with the tables in. It has a kitchen and a pantry. And on the foredeck there is the captain's quarters. So the captain's quarters is where the quartermaster and the captain themselves would likely plan the routes, etc. The captain would sleep in his own accommodation. It comes with ensuite bathroom, etc. And it's very much that lap of luxury for the captain as they are sort of controlling the ship. And on top of the forecastle, is where the first mate or the captain themselves would pilot the ship. It comes with 2 forms of propulsion, but only one of which can be used at one time. So it comes with something called, it's a goblin design, it's called an aeoli pile. And that would give, it's the primary method of propulsion for this craft. It moves 8 miles an hour. And those are those 2 sort of engines that you can see on the design at the back. It does also have a set of sails for emergencies, but they only work at 4 miles an hour.
It sounds like almost better than the other options, really.
Well, there is also a couple of customization options with this one as well. There are 3 empty rooms that I have left open for the sort of like the desires of the customer, which you can put things into. So you could fill it as a library, you can make one of them a workshop space, you could make one of them an infirmary, etc, etc. It entirely depends on what you're looking for, and what you're looking to use it for.
65,000 gold.
Standard is 65,000 gold, yeah. It has 18 tons of space, but if you wanted to add anything to it, it does also come with 2 ballistae as part of that. But it has 18 tons spare, but anything you add into those rooms would take up that space, would take up that tonnage.
How much time would it take to build this?
I would probably be able to get this done in a week.
In a week?
Yes.
Bloody hell,
I have most of the parts already.
I have a question to ask you.
Yes.
How do we get crew?
Crew, I mean, we can do a little bit of searching for you, otherwise asking around the town would probably be the best plan. I mean, we can do a little bit of putting out feelers for you to find various crews. I have some contacts here and there that I would certainly be able to point you in the direction of. Otherwise, if you know anybody, you can get in contact with them and they might be able to come and assist you.
Buddy, I like the sound of this, guys. What do you think?
Yeah, if we can get the crew for it.
I think it'd be fantastic.
I mean, if you're looking for the crew, like I say, I can get a colleague to have a look around. Collie's one of my business associates. She can ask around, see if there's any crews that are looking for work.
Buddy,
You get to name her, of course, yourselves.
I have an idea. The Drunken Dwarf.
The fine name. Fine name.
Like it needs a name that sort of focuses on all of us. Since, because technically we are all chipping in.
Well, let me give you some ideas of what you could have in this as well for those 3 extra rooms. So you could put a garden in there. One of the rooms you could dedicate it to being a garden with various different plants, maybe some herbal stuff in there. That would cost you. I think that decimal's in the wrong place. 12,000 gold, and that would take up 8 tons.
Can we call it the creators?
No, you can't.
Oh, I can't call the creators vassal.
No, you can't. Creator's vessel.
Vessel. Oh, come on.
I could install a library in there. That would cost you 10,000 gold. That's a lot heavier, though, I'm afraid, because the bookshelves would need some reinforcements. That would cost 12 tons of the remaining 18. You could put another living space in there. So you could put maybe another room for maybe just yourselves. Although I would presume that one of you would end up being the captain of the ship anyway, so that they would get the captain's quarters.
Captain Ragnar! Please!
Well, I'd presume it would probably be the person purchasing that would end up being the captain, which I presume would be yourself, Master Seldisa.
Yeah.
So you can put various different spaces in here. So you could equip it with wretched accommodation for 100 gold. And if you equip it with wretched accommodation, the crew will not like that. So morale will go down. That's 100 gold, but that would fit 32 people.
How much would you be how much for, say, a workshop?
You can put a workshop in. That would cost you 1,500 gold, and would take up 5 of the remaining 18 tons.
So we could fit an infirmary. I think we can fit an infirmary and a workshop in.
I mean,
there's not actually a listing for an infirmary, but I would probably put it at the same as a workshop.
is it? Do we have much need for a workshop?
So if it ends up being our sort of base, my sister would quite like it.
You can put a wizard study in there. We do also have a tesseract. You can put a tesseract in there.
Could we always come back to you?
The heck's a tesseract?
A tesseract. Oh, a tesseract. Very, very interesting creation, this. It's designed by the Modrons on a completely different plane. It doesn't take up that much space, so it would fit quite happily into one of those rooms. But it's bigger on the inside.
Would we always come back to you to make customizations later on?
Yes, you could always just use it as storage space for the moment and then come back to it later on.
I reckon it might be a good idea to maybe just get like an essential, like i.e. an infirmary.
So the Tesseract, by the way, it's bigger on the inside. The space is unique in that it can weightlessly fit 8 20 by 20 foot spaces inside of it.
We can get a fucking TARDIS.
There is only one catch. If anyone tries to sleep in it, there's a 20% chance that they will be replaced with an identical synthetic replicant whose only goal is to seek the unraveling of fate.
The fuck?
That sounds brilliant.
Don't sleep in the
Also,
Tesseract. Then.
New name idea, guys.
I can
Vessel
also
of the
put a
Undying.
teleportation in there.
Call it Jeff.
Vessel of the Undying. Vessel of the Undying. I feel like that
You
works.
haven't bought it yet.
I know. I just
It's not
think
even
but
built yet.
If we call it Vessel of the Undying, people might question us, and when we explain, they'll go completely
exactly. So
silent.
maybe like, I don't understand.
Just stop. I'm still going through rooms here. You can put teleportation in there, which allows you to teleport objects and creatures. You can do it a certain amount of times a day, like a big teleport pad thing. Yeah, that's it.
A Tesseract would be extremely useful.
The Tesseract, very very useful. It does cost. It costs 50,000 gold.
Ooh.
And the teleportarium costs 25,000 gold, so they're a little bit. They're the pricier options, I'm afraid.
Okay.
The chanting counter. That was about that.
You could call it the
The
Johnson
name.
Council.
I thought that'd be a nice name because we're basically calling our sort of D&D
You watching
group.
the stream?
No.
Oh, if somebody's got the stream open, can you ban that bot?
Yeah, I am.
Thank you.
I got it right now.
I've lost it now.
Got him.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
I've got a great name.
That's brilliant. What do you think of chanting counter, though, guys?
you haven't
think
even
it could
built the
work.
damn thing yet.
Well, we're pretty much certain we're going for this, so I feel
Well,
like we
you
get
need to
thinking here.
decide if you want more rooms.
Do we want more rooms?
Yes.
TARDIS.
You want the
I
Tesseract
say-
for 50,000 gold.
I don't think we can afford
How
that.
big is the Tesseract?
So it takes up a 20 by 20 foot space.
We don't have enough money for it,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I know.
So it take up
Ollie.
one of those other rooms.
I'll probably say we get. You said a workshop and infirmary were 1,500. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's get both of those, and the base ship and comfortable living quarters to keep the crew happy.
Yep.
That's already there. Sorry.
That's already there. That's brilliant. Okay, in that case, we'll take the ship. The
So remember,
If we're all in agreement.
there's 32 spaces worth of crew space in modest accommodation. And
crew
there's
space or passenger.
passenger. There's passenger space, but the crew takes up that passenger space.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, the crew entirely takes up the passenger space.
No, the crew is taken out of that passenger space.
Okay, that's fine. So
Okay.
So there
how much
is
space?
32 modest accommodation slots, 30 of which would be taken up by the crew. There is also 8 comfortable bunks. So that's those. There's the 4 rooms across the top of the airship, or top of the map. Yep, the vertical ones have 4 bunk beds in. So they can each have 8 people in a room. Then the 2 down the bottom have 2 bunk beds in, which are a little bit more luxurious.
Hmm.
So that's the comfortable accommodation. And that actually has more sort of like personal storage space, and it has like a desk in there as well. So that would probably be where like your officers would sleep.
Alright. I think I'm happy. Are you lot happy?
I'm happy with it.
How much would a piece of rope that dangles off the edge of the ship be?
Oh, I can include that, not a problem.
So that'll be
Thank you.
95,000 gold then, I guess.
So it's 65,000 gold normally.
65,000 gold norm. Oh no, it's 68,000.
68,000 it'd be total.
Yeah. Oh thank God, I was timesing that by 10.
Yeah, you put adding far too much on there.
Yeah.
So you want a workshop and an infirmary.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want the workshop. Where do you want to put the workshop?
Oh shit! You get to choose.
Yeah, you get to choose. There's 3 rooms that are empty, so you can see there's one at the sort of the top left, and then there's 2 on the right at the prow.
I'll probably put
I honestly think at the top of the ship.
I'll probably say infirmary by the crew quarters. That way, if someone feels sick, they can go to the nurse and be like, "Oh, I feel sick."
So you want to put the infirmary at the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Top
the
or bottom?
workshop.
Top or bottom?
Top or bottom? On the map.
By the crew. Top.
Top.
I'd say.
Yeah,
I
and then
Only because I'm tracking this, because I'll need to redo the map.
Yeah, exactly.
So either the workshop goes into the other slot at the front or at the back.
I'd probably say fits in quite nicely next to it. That way, if someone gets a boo-boo in the workshop, they can go straight to the infirmary.
Okay.
If they just block their own hand off by accident, they can go, "Ah! Ah!
It
Ah!"
doesn't really matter. This is not. It's not a huge space. So one of those rooms that you can see that is the crew quarters. Each room is about 10 feet wide, so it's not a massive space. It's not huge. I think the entire thing is about 60 foot long, ish.
I think Ragnar's
Maybe more
going
than
to be
that, actually.
intimidation if anyone steps out of line.
I'll crush them.
No, don't crush them, just threaten
Okay,
to crush
I'll
them.
copy the
Crush
map.
them.
Because if you crush them, we'll have to get more crew. And
I'll break their arm and send them to the infirmary.
that. I
But
guess.
then it would
no way,
utilize
yeah.
resources
go.
that could be better spent elsewhere,
Just
Yeah.
stab him. I can use cure wounds.
or just ensure that the crew has a good level of discipline and you don't need to torture them.
So you want the infirmary to be the top one, yeah?
Yes.
And you want the workshop to be the bottom one.
Yes.
Okay. Are you doing anything with the room at the back?
That would just be sort of like a storage area.
I'll probably wait for now.
Should we leave it empty?
Yeah, leave it empty. Let's see how much crew's going to cost.
Okay, right, so that's going to take up. Just need to do a little bit of calculation here. So the workshop takes 5 tons, as will that. So that leaves you with 8 tons left. You can add sort of like the ability to give you more tonnage by adding more balloons. Each balloon costs 350 gold and will give you an extra ton of cargo space
Are we able
or
to
cargo weight.
upgrade the propulsion?
You can upgrade the propulsion, yes. So instead of putting the aioli piles on, you can put on a what's known as a lightning drive.
Can we get magical orb of lightning?
It's kind of like that, similar.
Yeah,
So the
yeah,
lightning
yeah,
drive,
okay.
lightning drive, you'd have to take up space,
Alright.
and you'd
How
add
much?
to your crew count. So you'd actually take you'd need 35 crew.
Okay, how much would that cost?
So the lightning drive costs 25,200 gold.
Oh no.
How much would it cost to make the ship sentient?
A lot.
A lot.
So the lightning drive, it also reduces. So currently, it would take the tonnage space of the aioli piles, so it wouldn't be too different to that. You'd need to take up 20 by 20 foot amount of space, so you'd have to basically effectively remove one of the rooms for the actual drive's engine, and then you'd have to put a nacelle on the back. It would, however, bump your speed up to 15 miles an hour. Yeah.
So I just want to double check. So we had 100,000 gold. So
Yeah.
we take off.
So if you want to buy this one, it costs you 65,000 gold as the base value. You're adding two ship components to it, which is going to cost you 1,500 each. So that's 68,000 gold.
68,000 gold.
We still got a good amount of gold.
So that leaves us 32,000 gold.
And I mean, 32,000 gold, you could potentially put that towards, just as a quick suggestion, you could potentially give some of that to Fiona.
Yeah.
To assist with that. You could potentially spend it on getting yourselves more, doing more research maybe. You could do it with buying yourselves potions. You could buy weapons, whatever.
32,000 gold is a nice pot of money. How much?
Oh, you could also put an aviary on the ship as well, by the way. Sorry, I forgot about this. You can put an aviary on the ship. It will cost you 1,000 gold. It will reduce your tonnage by 2 tons. It requires one of your crew, and it allows you. It gives you one space for, and it reads here, Big O Bird.
Big O Bird.
Yes, Big O Bird.
It's the vine.
It's basically the living space for a large avian creature. So you could fit a small dragon in there potentially. You could fit maybe a wyvern in there, etc., etc.
But then we would need to buy a wyvern.
Or befriend a wyvern, certainly, yes.
Yeah.
Get me a Rathalos.
Or a griffin.
Oh, you could put a griffin in there, yeah, potentially,
Nice.
if you had a tamed griffin.
Yeah. Ollie, I think for now, are we all happy with what we're...
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're happy with it. Slow down.
If we
takes
get a bird, we can just turn it into an aviary if we need it.
Yes.
68,000 gold, and you have 8 tons of space left. So that does include all of the stuff that you want to put on there as well, I'd like to point out.
Okay.
So if you're carrying cargo, that comes out of that.
I guess we're spending the next week finding a crew.
Yeah.
Is it going to be like one of those heist things where we just?
Are we agreed on the name of the ship now? Of the chance?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to. Izzy will go. You don't have to name it until it's finished, so you can debate that a little bit if you'd like. It'll take me about a week to get this done. Me and Volo will we'll have a look at doing all of those bits and pieces. I do need to give you a little bit more information about what crew you will need. I mean, I can put out some feelers about getting you some crew. I know there's a couple of groups around here that I could probably convince maybe to crew your ship, but you would need to look for a few officers. So there's a number of officers that you need to keep a ship running. You need a captain, which is normally, if you're using it for your own purposes, it would be the person purchasing it. Although some people purchase it for business use and then just give it to a captain and say, right, go make me some money. But the captains there, they issue the orders. Best captains have high intelligence and charisma scores, as well as proficiency with air vehicles, which I can teach you, and with the intimidation and persuasion skills.
Is any of us particularly... Oh, Vine, you're quite intelligent and charismatic.
Yeah.
I consider myself fairly intelligent.
You're also proficient with persuasion, Seldisa.
Yeah.
Other than that, the only other person may be Hikivin, who is very much that charismatic person. You would need a first mate. So the first mate keeps your crew's morale up by providing close supervision, encouragement, discipline. They need to have a very high charisma score, as well as proficiency with the intimidation and persuasion skills.
I've got proficiency in intimidation,
which would be beneficial. You also need an engineer. So the engineer needs to have a very high intelligence. But would also benefit from being like something like an artificer or being proficient in tinker tools.
Your sister, Seldisa.
Yeah, she could potentially fill the engineering slot.
A quartermaster. So a quartermaster plots the ship's course, relying on knowledge of nautical or well, there's no real word for airship for that, but maps basically. And charts, studying weather and sea conditions or air conditions. They need to have a reliable quartermaster tends to have a high wisdom score as well as proficiency with navigator's tools and nature.
I have nature, but I don't have navigators. I think I could be a good quartermaster.
I would suggest that you being the quartermaster
Yeah.
is the best option, to be honest.
Yeah.
You guys can fulfill some of these. I would say that none of you can fulfill the first mate role, because the first mate takes over when the captain is not there.
Oh, okay.
But none of you can fulfill the first mate option. You have to find somebody to do that for you.
Would aviation be the right word you're thinking of, Owen?
Aviation would not be quite the right. I'm like nautical maps.
True.
There's no real word for nautical, like no equivalent in the air, really, as far as I can tell. I can't think of one at least. If you've got an infirmary, you would need a surgeon. So a sick surgeon tends to injuries keeps illnesses from spreading throughout the ship and oversees sanitation. A capable surgeon benefits from a high intelligence score as well as proficiency with herbalism kits and the medicine skill.
That could be Malaya.
I would suggest Malaya is a very good option for that.
Yeah.
A cook. A ship's cook works with the limited ingredients aboard the ship to make meals. A skilled cook keeps the crew's morale in top shape, while a poor one drags down the entire crew's performance. A talented cook has a high constitution score, as well as proficiency with brewer supplies and cook's utensils.
That's Ragnar! It's Ragnar!
So actually, Ragnar would be quite good at that.
Oh, I've got brewer supplies. I've got high constitution.
So if you want my suggestions...
But the thing is, though, if you're away from the ship, who's going to be the cook?
I mean, you could build up stores of food.
Aye.
So I mean, the cook would, when they're there, would do all the cooking, but you'd also have stores of like rationed food as well.
Aye.
So whilst you'd be travelling, you could do all the cooking, but if you went away for a couple of days to maybe explore something, then they'd resort to using like the rationed food. But extended periods of them having that rationed food would lead to lowered morale, which could then lead to a mutiny.
Oh, mutiny checks.
So there are mutiny checks in this, so yes, you do have to keep your crew happy.
Okay.
So, if you want my suggestions on what you what my suggestions on officers, Teldisa would be a very good captain, and plus he's buying the ship, so that makes sense. Because he's actually got quite a good high intelligence and charisma, and he's proficient in persuasion.
Yeah.
Malaya surgeon makes sense. I would probably recommend Vine being the quartermaster. I would recommend Ragnar being the cook, unless you wanted to find somebody else potentially who would keep the morale going when Ragnar's not there. Now, first mate, kind of got two options here really. Well, three options, to be honest. You could find somebody new. You could go searching for a new person. You could use Hickiveen, if he is willing to do so. Or, I would actually suggest Hydra might be a good idea.
Oh, yeah. She said she was going to be about. Yeah, she's quite charismatic. She's a bard.
That's a suggestion for first mate.
She said she'd be an Abermay.
She said she might be. She said she was going to do some research and stuff like that, but she never told you how long that would take and so on and so forth, etc., etc. So yeah, so I would suggest that Hydra would be a very good idea. For the engineer, though, my question to you is: yes, Mayala would be a very good option. She is also incredibly young.
Yeah.
And you are going to be in dangerous situations.
And also rowdy crewmates.
Mm.
So my suggestion, to be honest with you, would be to find somebody else.
Yeah.
Keep her safe.
That would just be my suggestion, and just leave Mayala in the care of Fiona for the time being.
I guess
But
we
that's
could-
me. If you guys want to do something else, that's just because I've
I'd
had
agree.
time to think about this. You
I'd
could
agree with
find
that.
another cook if you wanted to keep Ragnar free to do other stuff. You could find another first mate. I could roll up a character. Or you could potentially try and get in contact with Hydra to run your ship, or maybe try to convince Hikivim to do it.
I
Well-
like the idea of Hydra.
Yeah.
She was quite useful.
So the question
And we
is,
could
what are you doing?
we'll spend the week trying to hunt down Hydra recruit.
Do you want to send a
Yeah.
message to Hydra?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so
Yeah.
you can send a message to Hydra. And you get a message back, maybe a day or so later, saying that she would be happy to come and be your first mate. She's always wanted to travel on an airship, blah 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 blah, etc etc etc, and she'd love to travel and see new places. So you've got first mate there. Now
Okay.
I also have to mention costs
Yeah.
as well.
All right.
So, so your officers would have to be skilled hirelings. Now, skilled hirelings cost 2 gold per day.
Okay.
So for a month, I think a month in
I'll
this.
track this.
So it's starting to get complicated now. So they cost 2 gold per day. And you do that on to maybe either weekly or monthly pay.
Okay, so that's
Ooh, shit.
two gold per day per officer. And how many officers are we needing?
You would need one of each. So, captain, you could obviously exclude yourselves from that cost because you're paying
Exactly.
yourselves. So you can exclude your
Right.
if you're taking some of those, you can exclude yourself from that. So,
I'll take the
captain,
ro-
first mate,
I'll take.
engineer,
Captain, first mate, engineer.
quartermaster, surgeon, and cook.
Quartermaster, surgeon, cook.
So that's
Okay,
6.
so captain is sorted.
So worst case scenario, if only 3 of you take up the spaces, 4 of you take
Yeah.
up the spaces, that would leave you with two people. That would cost you 2 gold a day. That would be 4 gold a day. Sorry?
Engineer? What, do we have someone for quartermaster
Yeah, fine.
already?
Unless
Fine.
Fine doesn't want to be
Yeah.
quartermaster.
No, I want to be quartermaster.
You want to be the
Oh, that's
quartermaster.
good. So yeah, we've got 2 things to do. So that's 4 gold per day.
Yep, 4 gold per day. So you could either do that weekly, so that would cost you 14 gold a week. No. 28 gold a week.
Yep.
Sorry. Or you can do it monthly, but remember a month in this is 84 days.
84 days. Shit.
So that would cost
I
you a
think we-
lot.
I think weekly is a bit easier.
Weekly would probably be a bit easier, yeah. And that's
Okay,
so
so-
that's skilled hireling. So you would require your officers to be a skilled hireling. Okay.
Okay.
An unskilled hireling, which you can just use the rest of the crew, can just be unskilled hirelings.
So that's 32. That's 30 crew, right?
Okay.
That would be, and you require 30 crew minimum, yes, plus your officers. So an unskilled hireling requires 2 silver per day.
So that's 60 silver per day, which is per week. 120, 240. No, that's wrong. What am I doing? 60 times
Do you want
7.
me to plug it into a fucking calculator, Squish?
No, I've got one up right
calculator
now.
Have you? I've got my old
Times-
scientific calculator here.
So it's 420 silver a week, which is 42 gold a week.
42 gold a week, yeah. So
I
that would
expected
cost you about
46 gold together. a week.
46 gold a week, yeah.
Okay.
To keep this ship
so-
running.
Okay, that's cool. So, in that
So
case,
I would say that Hydra would be a skilled hireling.
Yeah.
I would probably. What I'm going to say to you now is I have some options for your unskilled, but one of them will be a skilled hireling.
Right. Okay.
So you can find basically 29 unskilled and 1 skilled.
Okay. So
Because
be...
the way that it will work, and I'll get to it in a minute, because you'll find some bits and pieces in a minute, is there will be a big group of people, 30 of them, which one of them will be their leader.
That makes sense.
Okay?
Yes,
And they are a skilled hireling.
Equals 29 unskilled, 3 skilled. Oh, and please check me if my maths are right or wrong on this one.
So that'll be 6 gold a day. That's 28, 32 gold a week. Is that 32 gold a week?
No, because it's 42 gold a week on the unskilled. Oh no, that's 30 crew, isn't it?
Hold on. So that's 3 times
Hang on,
2 day times 7. It's 42. So that's 42 a week for the skilled for 3 of them.
Yeah, I've got 406 for the unskilled because I now got it at 29 times
29
2.
times
So
2
can we
times 7, which is 406 silver.
Do you
which
reckon
would be-
to keep him happy? Can we round it up to 41 gold?
No, because it doesn't divide by 29.
What do you mean?
Doesn't
There's
divide by
406
29.
gold. There's 406 silver.
Yeah, 406 silver. If you do it to 410, doesn't divide between 29 people.
That's true.
Because they all need to be paid equally, remember?
That is true. Okay, fair enough.
But that would leave you with spare crew as well, because you get 30 crew. Then you'd have all of your officers, which you would count towards, of course. So you'd effectively have 36 members of crew, including
Hang on,
yourselves.
So it's 406.
406 silver, which is
406 silver.
40 gold and 6 silver. So that would cost you 88 gold, 6 silver a week.
All together.
Yeah, total. And that would cover you. To be honest, that would also cover your sort of like costs as well. I'm just going to say it would cost your costs. No, actually, no, it wouldn't. Each month it would cost you 20 gold to keep the ship stocked up. Or each time you go to port, you would have to spend 20 gold to get your ship stocked up with food and water.
That's fine. Would you
But
be
that's
able to be kind and allow us to know when we need to do our stock ups?
Yeah, I will tell you when you need to do your stock up. So that's not a problem. Don't
That's
worry.
fine. Okay, so agreed is 88.6 gold per week for the staff.
That's it. Yeah, 88.6 gold per week for all of your crew.
Okay, that's fine. So we farm them, I guess.
Yes. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. I need to loo.
Okay.
You guys can chat for a minute about who you might want to be your engineer potentially. Save you some gold.
Does anyone here feel engineering?
I mean, like the job that I actually want when I'm older is engineer, but that's not actually in my character.
Oh yeah, character-wise.
Yeah.
Ragnar as a oh my god, I just seen Ragnar like an apron with like "Kiss the Chef" or whatever.
Oh god.
Like, he's wearing nothing but the apron. He's hairy and everything. He's got a spatula in his hand and he's got his helmet on. That's it. That's brilliant.
Oh no. And with every meal he gives them like ale. Like even if they're like 7-year-olds, he's just like,
Okay.
you need to grow your.
Owen, I need to share. I need to share with you the image I've got in my mind right now of Chef Ragnar.
Okay.
He's butt naked. He's butt naked, all but his helmet, a spatula in hand, and an apron that says "Kiss the Chef."
Fuck's sake.
He's hairy and
Okay.
everything.
Why do you need to share, scar me with that image?
Wait, why 48, Ashley?
I thought that was like the amount of gold needed for like the crew per week?
No. It's
Oh, that-
It's 48 gold for all of the skilled hirelings per week,
okay.
and then it's
Are you
8,
sure?
and then it's another 40 gold, 6 silver per week for the unskilled hirelings.
Hang on. We're getting 3 hirelings, right? No, 3 skilled hirelings. Yes?
3 skilled hirelings, yeah, which cost 6 gold a day.
Yeah.
Times that by 7.
Yeah, 6 times 7. That's
It's 48.
42.
Is it?
Wait. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
How
42.
much
Sorry,
are we
42. Stupid me.
Skilled equals 42. And then 29.
So that'll cost you 88 gold, 6 silver per week.
Okay, so
82.6 gold per week.
we have, with the gold we have.
Oh no, 882. 882.
So over a year. Wait, way over like many years. I forgot that wasn't a day; it was a week.
Yeah, I imagine within the time frame we should be fine. Why?
So remember, there's 84 days in a month in this.
Yeah.
So a year is actually quite long.
Oh, okay.
Or is it? No, I don't think it is, because there's only 4 months.
Well, I guess we'll have to consider this. I think maybe we should put like a pot of money to one side again for like crew costs.
Let's see.
Why is Mel popping up as playing Apex Legends all the time?
Should
I
we
don't know, I
do
don't even know how I
like
did.
150
I don't even know why I've got
weeks
to add it
worth?
on.
Should we go? Wait, no, 200 weeks worth. I would say.
Ish, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say 200 weeks worth of gold?
Yeah.
200 is a bit. I think maybe.
It's actually shorter
100.
than a year. It's only 48 weeks a year.
Yeah.
Living territories.
Wait, 48 weeks is a year.
Yeah, in the living territories.
So wait. Oh, fair enough. So let's put down a year's worth then. Like 48 weeks then. We'll just have that to one side.
So that's how much it will cost. How are you finding them?
We'll find them. With
I would say I would be posting up ads.
You're going to post up
That's
ads
on-
saying Seldisa
Yeah.
Freewin wants you to join his
No.
airship.
No, no, no.
No,
Looking for airship
No.
crew in support of resistance movement trying to overthrow Emperor.
no, it's crew needed. Want to make money. Want loot. Want to go Yalgro. Follow us.
It'd be like
Don't cough into the mic.
It'd be like crew wanted free accommodation, free booze.
I wouldn't say
and
free.
that's it.
Hard work will be rewarded.
With booze.
You have to remember you have to be very specific with the DM, otherwise I will find a way.
Right, so it's like a genie.
Yeah, just be careful not to kill me next time.
Yeah, we gotta be very careful.
Haunting Council.
Seldisa Silent Snow, in
No.
brackets, formerly Seldisa Freewin.
We'll just simply call it.
So the way that I see it, just to give you a little bit of a hint, you've got 2 options. Okay? Two best options really. So, Izzy said that she would be able to find you a crew, or she had some ideas on where she could find you some crew, or maybe large numbers of people. You could also talk to Fiona, see if she has any contacts that would be willing to help. Maybe that would be a good idea for you to find some officers. You found one already. You've got your first mate in the form of Hydra. You're only looking for an engineer, unless you guys have a clever way of getting around that.
Timeshare? No. I feel like Fiona might have the answer to that one. If no one else is going to make a decision.
What?
What about that eye creature? That
Yeah.
seems a bit engineering to me. No, just kidding.
He'd work on honest day in his life.
Yeah, I highly doubt that a beholder would be willing to go on an airship as well.
If you don't mind me, I'm just gonna go AFK for a sec. Just get myself a drink of water.
Fine, no,
Okay,
fine,
cool.
not a problem.
Right.
You need a glass
Do
of water,
mind.
mate. Go.
Ollie. Okay, I've also thought probably if we put 5,000 of the money we have into a ship pot, that'll cover a year's worth of wages and
Over a year.
maybe some additional costs here and there.
Yeah.
Yep.
We may need to up it up a little bit more.
Don't forget, you also earn money as you go. You'll be earning
Exactly.
money by treasure and stuff like that as you go. So
Yeah.
a lot of
But
that
I
might
think-
well be covered by the treasure that you earn on the way.
But if at very least we have that.
Yeah, that's our emergency supply then.
That's our rainy day fund. Ashley,
I'm back.
Ashley, I think we're going to put 5,000 in the rainy day fund that's going to cover the cruise costs.
Okay, where are you putting it? Because you're currently
As in who-
walking around with 32,000 gold on you.
Well,
Well,
wait, we could put in the haversack.
You could put it in Heward's handy haversack, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that if you want to. I'd just like to point out that Heward's handy haversack is you carry it on you, and it doesn't prevent things from being stolen.
Oh yeah. I've got an idea for an advert we could put up.
we need a chest.
Yeah. Like we could put a big sign in the middle of the square which says "Oi Emperor, fuck you, we've got an airship." And then let's just see what happens.
Yeah, it's not like the Emperor's gonna send the Imperial Army after us.
Okay.
Oh,
I
you
might
said
need
it.
those stat blocks a little bit sooner than I thought.
Right, okay, so
no.
So what are you doing? You need these. You need the crew, and you need these officers. You've got one.
Yeah.
You need another.
well, we said we talked to Fiona.
You're going to talk to Fiona.
That as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go to Fiona. What you saying to her? So welcome you back. Hello.
We
It's
got
good
an
to see you back.
airship.
You've got an airship. Wonderful.
Yeah. We need an engineer. Find
He's
us
an
one,
engineer.
please.
Sorry, what?
Find us one, please, if you can.
Find you one? Well, I can't just magic an engineer out of thin air for you, Ragnar.
I'm doing it. We
Do you have
need
any?
a-
Do
I need to know what sort of
contacts that-
requirements that you need.
Do you have any?
An engineer.
I am not well versed in airships, I'm afraid, Master Dwarf. I kind of
Right,
need a little bit more
right,
to go on
right.
that. Let me.
Do you
Fine, Seldusa, please talk to me.
know
Do you have
anybody
any
that-
contacts that could potentially serve as who are skilled in airship engineering? Like, sort of help-
Maybe one.
Ah.
He's a goblin. That we have dealt with in the past. He doesn't go with his brethren very often. We know him very well for crafting mechanical things. He's very much a tinkerer. That the sort of person that you're looking for?
Yes.
That would.
Yeah. He could actually be good for us.
Then let me get in contact with him. His name is Nefer. Let me get in contact with him, and we should know in a couple of days.
At least he's
Okay.
gonna have a beholder.
Yes, after the fiasco with no, just no.
How is your bug-eyed friend?
He's as grouchy as ever. I mean, the beholders are very much their ethos
Evil
is the beholders are the ultimate species. They see themselves as ultimate species, and they're often beholders will take other creatures as slaves.
They have hands.
I'd like to see him try.
They don't have hands. They can telekinetically move things with their eyes.
I'd like to see him telekinetically move me.
He probably could. quite happily.
Has he done it to you?
No, he hasn't, because I haven't pissed him off.
So, how long have you known him for?
Maybe a year or so. He's the leader of the Thieves Guild in the city. So he very much deals in the black market artifacts, and he graces us with his presence by coming here and dealing with us.
How does a beholder come to the city in the first place?
Well, they're planar beings, so they can go wherever the fuck they want, basically.
Yeah.
Do you think he could potentially know someone who could help us out?
I think you've already found it.
He might, yeah, he might well know contacts in his Thieves Guild, but do you want somebody from the Thieves Guild?
I wouldn't trust a thief. I wouldn't trust a bug-eyed monster either.
They also tend to be very possessive, so he sees his Thieves Guild members as his. They're his items.
Yes.
So
Ollie,
I doubt he'd be willing to part with them.
What's the name of this Tigger?
I just told you, it's Nether.
Nether. Sorry, I've got bad memory.
Clearly.
Bad listening skills, rather.
Yep, clearly. To both. Yes, his name is Nepher, Nepher, for those of you who need spelling. I can get in contact with him. He's an artificer, so he would likely, he's the best person that I know of that would be beneficial to you.
Ollie, sounds good to me.
The other thing that you would need is, during that period of 7 days, Saldisa, you need to be almost in constant contact. You need to be at the airship dock, because Izzy needs to teach you how to fly an airship.
Yeah.
So, you need to almost constantly be at the airship dock, so that you can understand. Excuse me. What goes on? You would also need Nefer to spend a few days getting familiar with the aioli piles. I mean, they are goblin in design, so he would have advantages with that.
Can Ragnar buy an eye patch?
Why?
So he can feel like a pirate.
You can buy an eye patch. You can buy an eye patch, but whenever you have your eye patch on, you would get disadvantage to everything requiring sight.
Yeah, but he doesn't know how to put it on properly. He just puts it in the centre of his forehead.
Sure. Spend
I am
5
a
silver
pirate.
buying an eye patch.
Also,
I don't have any money.
Now I have a question. Can I go around and look for a whip? Because I really want a whip. I don't
You
know
can
why.
buy a whip. You can go and buy a whip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
Or,
are we going to pass it? Are we going to give this to
You can. There is actually a
Hydra?
whip. There is a whip weapon.
Yeah,
so you actually can.
No, I've seen it. I've seen it. I'm just like that would be good for intimidation.
Yeah. Can we spend some of our shared pot money to get some more potions, so I can have some potions again?
You can have 2. Again.
Yes, you can. You can buy some potions. You can go back to I can't remember his name now.
Potion guy.
Zendris. That's one.
Yes, Andrews. Yeah, that's it.
You know what I
He does,
find
doesn't
insane?
it,
There's
Izzy?
actually a chance if you get like a 91 or higher, you can get tons of money.
Right. How much is it going to cost from the? How much money you got left in the pot?
He has 8 potions of healing. Each one is worth 45.
45. I mean, I mean, we've all got 2, right? Besides me.
I want to go and see Miala and see how she's coming along.
She's doing fine.
Guys, have we all got 2 potions besides me?
Yeah.
Right. Can we spend 90 gold to get me 2 potions back?
Yeah, that seems fine.
I'll have to ask Ashley to knock that off of the value. I need to get some money. Can we go on a quest? Oh, don't forget. Oh, we're not going to have enough time, are we?
So actually, Ragnar wants to take 90 gold out of the shared pot to buy himself potions. If you are going to go and visit Mayala, Mayala is doing fine. She's working on she's still analysing all of the bits and pieces that you brought her. So you brought her the Morning Star and the blowgun infused with dark silver, and you brought her the ingots of dark silver. She's still analysing, doing a bit of testing with all of that at the moment, looking into maybe creating new items and weaponry, so on and so forth. But otherwise, she's doing fine. She's with Anaxon. Anaxon seems to be helping her, assisting her by providing magical assistance, etc., 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 etc.
Oh yeah, tell her that I'm gonna become an airship captain.
She seems very excited by that. She's always wanted to fly on an airship, but she hasn't had a chance to yet. I mean, you have flown on an airship before yourself, but very, very rarely, because they cost, as you're finding out. But yes, so she's very excited by that, etc., etc., etc. So, a couple of days pass. Fiona sends you a message. She gets in contact with you and says, Nefer has arrived. I'm going to point him in the direction of the airship docks, with your sort of like names invited. So Sildisa would likely have to go and meet him. Hydra also arrives and starts to become familiar, because Hydra needs to go through the same training as Sildisa.
I've had another idea, Owen. Can we put out an advert? Can we put out an advert for anyone who wants to pay for passage? Who wants to use us as a trip to Ashan or whatever?
You can, yes.
We're a taxi.
What are you charging? You can. No, you literally can. You've got spare rooms. You've got four comfortable bunks.
It's official guides for an Uber.
Is that separate from what we've got covered?
Yeah, so remember, you've got 40 spaces. You've got 30 modest bunks.
Yep.
Or 30 spaces in modest. And you have 8 comfortable. I'm going to assume that 2 of you are going to take the comfortables.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, actually...
There's 6 of us, isn't there? It's Hikivim, Sildisa, me,
Yeah,
Vine.
I'll come to Hikivim. Hold on, I'll come to Hikivim. There's Sildisa, Vine, Ragnar, and Malaya. So there's 4 of you.
Yeah. Okay.
Sildisa, if he's the captain, would take the captain's quarters. So that's a bed. That's separate. I've calculated that separately. So he'll take the bed there. So that requires 3 people to sleep in either the modest or the comfortable. Okay. So either you can take the 2 modest bunk spaces, or you can take 2 of the comfortable bunk spaces.
I will take 2 modest and sell the comfortable thing. That way we can charge more.
And then one of you, I would suggest that your officers take 2 of. You've got 2 officers. I would suggest that they take up 2 of the comfortable rooms, 2 of the comfortable bunks. So let's get the map up. Let's get the map up again very quick. Hang on, let me show you the map.
I've got the design up already myself.
There you go. So, and you can zoom this in. So, the 4 rooms across the top each have 8 spaces in, okay?
Yeah.
So your crew would take up 30 of those. So that's effectively all 4 of them with 2 spaces left in the final room.
Yeah.
Okay? The 2 bunks down the bottom are the comfortable rooms, and they can each fit 4 people in. So if you were going to take up the modest room, you'd be sleeping with the crew. Yep.
Yep.
Then your effectively 3 officers basically would take up the entirety of one of the comfortable bunks.
Yeah, exactly.
With 1 space. And then you'd have 4 spaces left.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. That's perfect. So we could sell 4 tickets.
So you could effectively, yes, you could effectively sell 4 tickets of travel, so long as they are going to where you're going to.
Yeah. How much can we charge?
I mean, it's up to you. Typical passage So typical passage on a sailing ship is 1 silver per mile.
Right. I think we calculated about like a couple gold per mile, didn't we, for an airship?
Also, technically, we can have 5 if I sleep on the sofa.
But no, you can't sleep on the captain's sofa.
Oh. I mean,
You can't. Sorry, you
Okay.
just can't. No. But you can take up the. But 5 wouldn't work anyway. You've effectively got space for 5 people, but
yeah.
you'd have to share. One of those people would have to share the officers' quarters.
Which I think would be wrong.
yeah.
I think it'd be better to use the full.
Or you can take up some of the officers' space
Yeah.
if you want to live in comfort.
I'm an officer.
You are an officer,
No.
yeah, but you decided that you wanted to sleep in the modest rooms.
I'll sleep. I'll actually, to be fair, I'll sleep in modest because that's Ragnar. He doesn't care much for wealth.
And also, it'll build up a greater connection between the crew.
All right.
You.
I think at the very least we designate the room on the right of the comfortables as guest quarters.
Okay. So it's dependent on whether or not Vine wants to sleep in modest or comfortable. So it's entirely up to whatever the heck you want to decide.
I don't honestly mind.
You don't
I'll
mind?
just go modest.
You go modest? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I mean, the course master normally would sleep in comfortable rooms. That would be expected.
Oh, okay.
Whereas I think the
Yeah.
chef is more likely to.
Yeah.
The chef
probably a
would be more
comfortable
likely
room
to
then.
slum it.
Yeah. It's because I lived in a small village. I was just kind of like, yeah.
Right. So
You would more likely sleep in the
yeah,
comfortable, but there's one
comfortable, yeah.
space left in one of those bunks.
So if we charge, say, 2 gold a mile,
I think 2 gold is probably quite steep.
quite steep. Okay.
A gold a mile would probably, because remember, a ship's passage on a sailing ship is 1 silver.
Okay.
So you're basically timing that by 20 by charging 2 gold.
Okay. What's the distance to Ashan?
Ashan is actually about 700 miles.
700 miles. Okay, in that case, how about we charge
Golden Mile.
50? Gold a mile.
Let me tell you, I think it's 760.
So that'll be 760 gold per passenger.
Oh no, 728, 730 miles.
Okay,
That's as the crow flies.
Let's put down a discount rate of 500 gold to Ashan.
Yeah, you can do that.
That is good. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that.
So that could potentially be 2 grand if we get a full ship. I guess that would be depending on what roles we make to try and advertise.
And to make it sound better, we'll say food and beds included.
Yeah, it's all inclusive basically.
Yeah, but yeah, let's say all inclusive.
An all-inclusive rider. Do you fancy an all-inclusive ride on the chance encounter to Ashan?
Well, you don't even have a crew yet, I'd like to point out.
Yeah.
You have 2 officers.
Okay.
Plus you lot.
Okay,
Yeah, we need to get a crew.
Also, during this time,
Yeah.
Hikavim will gather you all together, and he will say to you, whilst I'm all about overthrowing the nobility, I do not see how we can benefit from allying ourselves with this group. And I need to look out for myself. So if you guys are heading down this path, I am going to say my advice.
Alright. Well,
I have other things that I need to investigate anyway, so if you guys are heading down this sort of path, then it is entirely your decision.
Well, we respect your decision.
your decision.
Just try to keep in contact.
I shall do my best when I remember.
Thank you, my friend. I give him an arm.
And he will shake hands. Even Seldisa, he will eventually kind of come around to you and say, "We've had our differences in the past and I've treated you with mistrust. I still do not entirely trust nobility. but I see that you are at least somewhat more trustworthy than others.
Thank you.
You are now decidedly not even nobility.
My heart right now. This is. No, heartstrings, dude.
So, I wish you all best of luck. Don't know, I have been a little bit testy in the past, but I do wish you all the best of luck. And maybe we will see each other again in the future.
Yep.
Oh, dude. I didn't think Hickey Lee would get me, like, feeling emotional, you know?
And he's gone.
Damn.
That's it. He's gone. Where's Hickey Lee's token? There it is.
Run away!
Bye! It's gone. I've deleted it. It's permanently gone.
I honestly thought that he was that your character was going to like try and
Smite
make
him to
it
death.
like like no, make it quite rude. And if that was going to happen, we would be like, well, then we'll just kill you. No.
Oh, what? Like Hickey just goes, well, fuck you, lot, I'm off.
Yeah, and then we just
Fuck you lot.
Nah,
there
not that
and
mean.
The creator takes his boon back.
Oh,
No. The creator just goes.
Wait, hang
well,
on. Question.
then,
Owen, what would the
Yes?
creator do in this circumstance where want to save the world is fucked up?
Well, he's not necessarily not going to go ahead and save the world. All the creator said was the world is now in your hands, basically.
Fair enough.
He never said.
Hey,
He kind of
let's
said, gave you the task of saving the world. He didn't say how to do it.
True. Fair
Hey,
enough.
let's merge all our pins.
So shall we find?
So
Shall we find this guy?
after a few days, now that I can finally speak again.
Yes. You were speaking. You were
Table
speaking
flip.
during that game.
Yes, I know. Right? You guys were fucking around so much with your like pointless shit. After a few days, Izzy sends you a message saying, I have managed to find 2 groups that would be suitable for your needs that are happy to crew the airship. Yeah, table flip. They are at the Emporium. If you would like to come and have a chat with them, they've sent their leaders across to have a chat with you. And you can decide which group you would like to hire, if you'd like to hire them at all.
Alright.
What are you going to do?
Alright, you maggots!
calm down, Ragnar.
Actually, no, it should only be behind the doing this, right?
That's exactly how I imagined it going.
No, stop.
I go ahead and shake the leader's hand.
So, what happens is that at the sort of the visitors centre in the Emporium, Izzy brings you in, and she takes you to a sort of a side room, with like a table, some chairs, etc., etc., etc. So you can sit down, like an interview room, and like an office that you can sit down and sort of interview with these people. She brings the first one in. And this person is, they stand about sort of like 6 feet tall. They are amorphous, they're genderless. Because you see in front of you a figure made of metal and wood. It moves around fairly ordinarily, but it is made of metal and wood. There's great big metal and stone plating in the sort of like the shape of armour. But their body is not flesh. It is made of stone, wood, and iron, effectively. Its head is a helmet. It doesn't have a face. It just has a helmet with 2 sort of like glowing purple crystals for eyes. And the helmet has 2 great big wings made of metal coming off the back.
I say samesies and lift up my left leg.
I feel like. Are you
Not
a
quite.
man?
Not quite as the same. It's actually very different to your leg. This thing has a core in the centre of crystal as well. And yeah, so this is Izzy will introduce. This is Garuda. He's a Warforged. Him and his group are happy to crew your airship. Should you want them to?
Well, that's wonderful then.
No, I'll leave you guys. You guys can have a chat and get yourselves acquainted. See what you see whether or not you're happy to hire him and his group.
Hello! My name's Ragnar! Do a big cheesy grin.
Greetings.
Which
My name
you can
is
see my breakfast
Garuda.
and everything.
Nice to meet you, Garuda.
Garuda! What are ye?
I am what is known as a Warforged. I am a autonomous construct, built primarily for fighting.
Fighting! Yes! Come here, lad! Let's have a tussle. Let's have a wee.
Ragnar,
Ragnar, don't fight.
this is
me.
an interview.
Don't
Oh,
not
it's not
a war.
I need to know if this man can hold his own. Let's have a wee spar.
Yeah.
Are you letting him do it, guys?
Why not?
A wee spar.
He has health potions. It's fine.
Oh, it's not bad. I have a longer rest as well.
What's your
It's not-
strength
it's not-
score?
My strength score is +3. 16.
Okay, roll a strength check then.
D20 +3.
Garuda stands up, picks you up, throws you into the air, catches you neatly, and puts you back down again.
What, so like
sufficient
what people
for you?
do to babies?
I
You
think
know,
it-
when they like
did
lift
you
them up in the
say-
air, like, wee.
Did you say you catch me? Did he catch me?
Yeah, he caught you neatly and put you back down. Is
Oh.
that a sufficient demonstration for you?
I love you, man. You're very strong. You're my new best friend. I reach out a hand to him with a
I am
big
glad
smile.
you enjoyed.
What?
And he reaches out with his hand and he shakes it very sort of like mechanically. Up, down, up, down, up,
What
down,
is
up,
your
down,
crew
up, down.
like?
My crew is all the same as me. We are mixed in terms of ability and design, however. Some of us designed for fighting, some of us designed for fixing.
Well, that seems very useful to us.
I like you already. We can offer you the price of that were the wages that we were given.
So, right. Let me give you a little bit of sort of like mechanical information about this, because there is another group. Will you decide there is another group? The Warforged do not need to eat, so that would reduce your port costs.
However,
They probably need.
No, that's it. They cost the same.
Mhm.
It would reduce, however, your tonnage because the Warforged
Oh yeah.
are
Heavy.
heavy.
how much by?
If you crewed all 30 of them, it would cost you 2 tons.
Yeah,
So
we
you have
could do
8
that.
tons left.
For Chance Encounters Airlines, that would make it very good on costs.
But that's it. That's them. Okay.
Thank you.
So
Thank you
that's
very
one
much.
group.
Okay, so
Next.
yeah.
Come in.
I'm imagining sort of like a Britain's Got Talent-esque
Yeah.
thing of us like free on it.
Well, it's an
Just
interview,
watching them
so
all.
it's literally just an interview.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So the next one. So Izzy walks in with the next next sort of representative, who is similar to a tabaxi, but very much more feline.
All right. How do you do?
And Izzy will say this is Jenlyn. She is a Skog cat. She's a Grimalkin.
Nice to meet you.
Voice.
Maybe honey again.
No, it's not quite. It's not honey. She's more, and it's female. And Jenlin is she's a medium creature, so she's sort of the same size as Ragnar is.
Alright.
And she's
like a good thing for the gnome.
very athletic, very athletically built. And she is she's wearing. She doesn't wear armor or anything like that. She wears more of like a robe than anything else, but it's quite tight fitting. So it's designed to be very much sort of like athletic, quick moving, etc., etc., etc. Greetings. No. Hello. My name is Jenlin.
Nice to meet you, Jenlin.
Lovely to meet
My
you.
name's
It's a
Ragnar.
pleasure.
Saldissa.
Fine.
Yes, it's a pleasure to meet you. Our potential masters, for want of a better word.
Alright. What can you bring to the table?
So myself and my litter are very.
Hold on a
very,
sec.
yes.
Your litter? That's in your
Litter.
children.
It's our name. We call it our name. The rest of my litter.
Okay. Okay, sorry.
It's the family. Family,
I
for want of a
apologize.
better word. Not by blood, but by connection.
Harry, go on, continue.
We are very much interested in exploring the world. We have various different abilities. We know that some in our later stages of life are able to change shape. They are very okay. Without doing all of the RP because we are running out of time. Without doing all the RP bollocks. The Genlin, the Skogcat are, or the Grimalkin are very agile because they are basically cat people. They are also, the majority of them are small in size. So they would take up half as much space as an ordinary crew.
Oh, okay.
They have some limited telepathy, so they can communicate with people a little bit telepathically, but not completely. It's only one way, so they can't reply unless you are a Grimalkin and you yourself have telepathic abilities, blah blah blah. They are also, but they would cost normal amounts of food, etc., etc., etc.
Okay.
They are very agile as well, so cats always land on their feet. And they're good at climbing through rigging, etc., etc., etc. You'd also be able to make repairs that you wouldn't normally be able to, because the majority of them will be small in size. So they don't. Sorry, half as much is not quite. They take up 3/4 of the space that they would normally, because some of them are medium-sized, some of them are small in size.
Okay.
So, for example, you are all medium creatures, including Ragnar. Genlin is the same size as Ragnar is. Bless you. Whereas a small creature is smaller than medium. Obviously.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So probably about... They'd take up about 3/4 of the space that they would normally, because some of them would be medium, some of them would be able to share a bed, effectively.
I still like the robots.
Kind of like them too.
Because they do the robot dance if we ask them to.
They probably don't know what it is.
What is the robot dance? What is a robot?
Can Ragnar try and mimic a robot dance?
What is a robot? Robots don't exist!
Well, I'll try and do a dance like a robot and tell them to dance like...
Robots don't exist!
You know what I mean! Oh,
I know what you mean, but robots don't exist, so the dance doesn't exist!
Oh.
It's D&D!
Oh.
Stop breaking the fourth fucking wall! Before I get Izzy to go and slap you again.
Ragnar, have you been drinking it?
Fucking hell.
No. I think that he gets drunk and then he thinks up ideas of stuff that exist in this reality, but no one knows what they are.
I kind of like that. Right, it's 5 o'clock. So I think what we'll do is we'll stop it there. You guys can decide what crew you want to take, be it the Grimalkin, the Cat People, or the Warforged.
Warforged, definitely.
Well, you can discuss this just in case, because they have their own benefits here and there.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I will fix the map. I'll sort that out for you, so you will have an airship for next week.
Will you look into our advertisements of?
I will. What I'll do is I'll get you to next time. I'll get you to roll some dice. I haven't quite decided what those dice will be, but I will get you to roll some dice for next time.
14d100s.
And yeah. So I think that is us done for the week. So everybody, say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Another day without waiting.
Yeah. Bye. We'll see you next week.
Bye bye.